that the world might just be a big dream. Have you ever woken up from a really vivid dream? One where everything felt so real you almost couldn't tell it wasn't. That strange, floating feeling of, was that real, lingers. Philosophers sometimes wonder, what if this whole world, everything around us, is just like that dream? What if our waking life isn't waking at all, but another kind of dream? It's an old idea. Way back, thinkers like René Descartes worried about this. He wondered if some trickster could be making him believe things that weren't actually true. He asked, how do I know I'm not dreaming right now? He felt that even if everything else was a trick, the fact that he was thinking meant he definitely existed. I think, therefore I am. That's his famous line, showing he knew he was real, even if the world around him might not be. Think about those amazing virtual reality games. You put on a headset, and suddenly you're flying through space or exploring an ancient temple. It feels so real, right? Your brain is getting all these signals, telling you you're there. Now, imagine if someone could make those signals even more perfect. So perfect you never took the headset off, or maybe you never even knew you had one on. How would you know the difference between the game and your actual living room? That's what this idea is about. It's a big, almost dizzying thought. If the world is a dream, what does that mean for our friends, our family, the sky, the trees? It doesn't mean we should stop caring or that nothing matters. Instead, maybe it makes us appreciate every moment even more. This breath, this laugh, this sunshine, they feel real to us, right now. And maybe that's enough. It reminds us to truly see the beauty and wonder in this life, no matter what it ultimately turns out to be. It's a reminder to be present, to cherish these experiences that feel so utterly, wonderfully real. That your red isn't my red. Have you ever really stopped to wonder about something as simple as the color red? We all learn what red is. We see a stop sign, a rose, a fire truck, and we say, that's red. We agree on the word. But here's the thing. What if the actual feeling of red, the private experience of it inside your mind, is totally different from mine? For centuries, deep thinkers have imagined this exact puzzle. They called it the problem of qualia. It's about the raw, personal feel of things. You see red, I see red. But what if the internal sensation you get, the way your brain shows you red, is what my brain experiences as blue, and vice versa? We'd never know. We both learned to call that specific wavelength of light red. So we'd just keep talking past each other without realizing it. Think about a ripe, juicy strawberry. We both bite into it, and we both taste sweet. But is your sweet the exact same burst of sugary flavor as my sweet? Or is your inner experience of sweetness a little more tart, or a little less intense than mine? We can talk about it, describe it, but we can't truly step into each other's heads and feel what they feel. This can help us understand that our own inner world is truly our own, and that's why this idea can feel profound. It reminds us that everyone carries their own secret world of sensations, colors, and tastes inside them. We share words, we share actions, but the true inner experience remains ours alone. It makes you realize how amazing it is that we can connect at all, and how much we rely on trust and imagination to understand what another person might be feeling. It asks us to be more curious, more gentle, with the unique way each of us experiences everything around us. That a chair is not really a chair. Have you ever looked at a chair and really, truly thought about what it is? It seems simple, right? Something you sit on. But a philosopher might quietly tell you, that chair isn't really a chair. Here's the thing. They mean chair is just a word, a concept we invented. The object itself, it's just wood, fabric, metal, tiny atoms, all connected. Without us, it's just ... stuff. Hundreds of years ago, thinkers like the ancient Greeks wondered about this. They asked if the perfect idea of chair existed somewhere, or if it was only in our minds. Later, people kept asking, is a chair real out there on its own? Or does its chairness depend on us seeing it and knowing its purpose? It's a way of asking if our labels create reality, or if they just describe it. Think about a pile of bricks. To a builder, it's future walls. To a child, it might be a castle. The bricks don't become a castle until someone sees them that way, right? The same is true for the chair. If no one ever sat on it, or called it a chair, would it still be one? Or would it just be pieces of material put together in a certain shape? Our agreement, our shared idea, gives it that name. It's a strange, deep thought, isn't it? That so much of what we name, what we understand, is a kind of story we tell ourselves about the world. And that's why it matters, because understanding this can make everything around you feel a little more mysterious, a little more special. It reminds us that our minds don't just look at the world, they gently help shape it, piece by piece, with every name and every idea we hold. That you can't step in the same river twice. Have you ever thought about how everything around us is always changing? Imagine you're standing by a river, watching the water flow. It rushes past you, never stopping, always moving. If you step into that cool current, feel it swirl around your ankles, then step out, wait a minute, and step back in. Is it truly the same river? Thousands of years ago, a wise thinker from ancient Greece named Heraclitus had this exact thought. He famously said, "You cannot step into the same river twice." He believed everything in the world is always flowing, always becoming something new. The water you felt on your skin a moment ago has already traveled downstream. So, even though the riverbed and banks might look familiar, the water itself is different. It's a new moment, a new river dot. And here's the thing, this isn't just about rivers. This idea applies to us too. Think about yourself. Are you the exact same person you were last year, or even last week? Probably not. You've learned new things, had different feelings, maybe you've grown taller, or changed your mind about a favorite hobby. Each experience, each day, changes you, even in small ways. You are like that river, always moving, always becoming. The moments you live through are like the water flowing by, shaping who you are, then moving on. So, this idea that you can't step in the same river twice, it offers a deep, quiet lesson. It reminds us that every single moment is precious and unique. We can't rewind and experience it again in the exact same way. It encourages us to notice the now, to truly feel the present. Because even as we read these words, this very moment is already becoming the past. It might feel a little bittersweet, knowing nothing stays perfectly still, but it's also incredibly beautiful. It means there's always something new to discover, always a fresh perspective, and always a chance to grow. It helps us appreciate the fleeting, ever-changing beauty of life itself. That asking why is the most important question. Have you ever looked at something simple, like a leaf or a drop of rain, and just wondered why it is the way it is? Not just what it is, or how it works, but truly why. This simple little word, why, is like a secret key. It opens doors to places in our minds and hearts that other questions just can't reach. It makes us pause and think beyond the surface. For thousands of years, people have been asking why. Think about ancient Greek thinkers, like a man named Socrates. He didn't just accept what people told him. He kept asking why about everything. About justice, about beauty, about what makes a good life. He believed that by asking why over and over, you could peel back layers, like an onion, to get to the real truth. This isn't just about facts. It's about understanding the deeper meaning behind things, the reasons that shape our world. Here's the thing, when you see a friend sad, you don't just notice that they're sad. You wonder why. Is it something someone said? Did something happen at home? And that's why it matters. Or, when a scientist sees a problem, they don't just fix it. They ask why it's happening. Why do certain plants grow better in one type of soil? Why does the moon pull the ocean? Asking why makes us dig deeper than just what's on the surface. It helps us understand the hidden forces, the real reasons for things. It pushes us to learn, to invent, to solve. That it might seem like a small word, but why holds immense power. It's not always about finding one simple answer, because sometimes there isn't one. It's about the journey of looking, of searching, of feeling that gentle pull to understand more. It helps us connect with the world and with ourselves on a level that feels much deeper than just knowing things. It reminds us that there's always more to discover, more to feel, and more to understand about this amazing, complicated world we live in. And that's a beautiful thing, that we don't actually have free will. Have you ever felt like you had to do something, even when you wanted to do something else? Like your hand just reached for that cookie, even if you told yourself no. We often feel completely in charge of our choices. Every decision feels like ours. But here's a deep thought philosophers have wrestled with for ages. What if that feeling of control is just an illusion? This idea suggests our choices aren't truly free. Instead, they might be the result of everything before them. Think about it. Your past experiences, your brain's wiring, your genes, your environment, all these shape who you are. If who you are shapes your decisions, are those decisions truly independent? This view is called determinism. It means everything, including our actions, is already set by prior events. Some ancient Greek thinkers wondered about this. They asked, if the world works like a giant clock, where one gear turns the next, does that leave room for us to freely choose? If every cause has an effect, where do our independent thoughts fit? Imagine picking a movie. You think you're freely choosing, but maybe you pick an action movie because a friend recommended it, and you're feeling restless from a sugary snack, subconsciously wanting to escape homework stress. All those tiny pieces of your past and present pushed you towards that movie. Your choice wasn't just a sudden spark, it was the result of countless tiny pushes. Your mood, hunger, tiredness, these affect what you do. So, it's not about saying you're a robot, it's about seeing the hidden currents that guide us. It makes us wonder if our lives are more like rivers flowing downstream, not boats just sailing anywhere. And that's why it matters. Thinking about this can make us more understanding of ourselves and others. Seeing how much is out of our direct free control. It's a quiet reminder of our deep connection to everything around us. That true happiness comes from not wanting anything. Have you ever noticed how sometimes, the more you get, the more you want? A new phone, a cool pair of sneakers. You get it, feel happy for a bit, but then soon, something else catches your eye, and the chase begins again. Here's the thing. Some ancient thinkers believed true happiness isn't about getting all your wishes. It's about learning to not want so much in the first place. Think about it. If you're always chasing the next big thing, your mind is often stuck in the future, focused on what's missing. You might miss the good stuff happening right now. Philosophers like the Stoics talked about finding peace by accepting what is, instead of constantly wishing for something different. Many Eastern philosophies teach that our suffering comes from endless desires. We tie our joy to things, and those things always change or disappear. Imagine a scientist studying our brains. They see that when we get something we want, our brain gives us a little shot of a feel-good chemical, but that feeling doesn't last. So, our brain wants another shot, and another. It's like a hungry bird always looking for the next seed. What if real peace comes from telling that hungry bird, we have enough? When you let go of constant wanting, a quiet space opens inside you. A space where you truly see and appreciate the simple, good things already there. This might work for you. It's not about giving up on dreams, but finding a calm, steady joy that doesn't rely on what you don't have. It's a feeling of freedom, like a heavy weight lifted, leaving you simply present, simply enough. That nothing ever truly changes. It just looks like it. Have you ever looked at something and felt like it's changing, but also, not really? Like a tree in winter and then in summer. It looks so different, with bare branches turning green with leaves. But is it a different tree, or just the same tree, showing a different side of itself? This is a really old idea some philosophers thought about a long time ago. They wondered if maybe, deep down, nothing ever truly changes. It just appears to. Our eyes, our senses, they show us things moving, growing, falling apart. But here's the thing. What if the thing itself, its very core, stays the same? What if change is just how we perceive it, like looking at the same object from different angles, or watching a movie where the actors change outfits, but are still the same people? Here's an example to think about. Imagine a big block of ice. It's solid, cold, clear. Then, it melts into water, a flowing liquid. Then, that water boils and turns into invisible steam, a gas. Each form looks incredibly different, right? Ice, water, steam, they seem like separate things. But here's the main point. Chemically, it's all still H2O. The atoms don't change. The substance doesn't change. Only its form does. It changes how it looks and feels, but not what it is. This idea makes you stop and think. If a friend changes their hair, or their favorite band, are they a completely different person? Or are they still the same person, just showing new parts of themselves? It's a quiet thought, making you wonder if the things that really matter, like our own true self, or the essence of life, stay constant, just shifting how they appear to the world. It's a comforting idea, in a way, that maybe the deepest things are always, wonderfully, just themselves. That knowing you know nothing is super smart. Have you ever felt completely sure about something, only to find out later you were wrong? It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Like the ground shifted. But what if realizing you don't know everything is actually a kind of superpower, a secret to being truly smart? Here's the thing. It sounds odd to say, knowing you know nothing is smart. It sounds like giving up, but it's the exact opposite. It's about humility. It means understanding that the world is huge, full of wonders, and your own understanding is just a tiny part. When you truly get this, everything opens up. Your mind becomes a wide open window, not a locked box of answers. Think about ancient Greece. A wise man named Socrates often said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." He wasn't saying he was dumb. He understood his own knowledge limits. He knew there was always more to learn. This made him endlessly curious, always searching. That's why he was so wise. Consider learning a new instrument, like the guitar. You might think, "I'll be great at this quickly." But the more you practice, the more you realize how much more there is to master. New chords, melodies, styles. If you think you already know it, you stop pushing yourself. But if you embrace knowing only a little, you keep exploring, getting better, finding new sounds. This helps you grow. So this idea isn't about being clueless. It's about finding quiet strength in being truly open. When we realize the vastness of what we don't understand, it leaves room for wonder, for awe, for discovery. It keeps our hearts soft, our minds ready to learn, and our spirits forever curious about life's beautiful unknowns. And that, in its own gentle way, is a truly smart way to live. That a thought is more real than a rock. Have you ever really stopped to wonder what is truly real? You can pick up a rock, right? Feel its weight, see its rough edges. It's solid, it's there. But what about a thought? You can't touch it, can you? You can't put it in your pocket. Yet, some philosophers have looked at the world and thought, maybe the idea, the thought, is actually more lasting, more powerful, even more real than that rock. Here's the thing. A rock can break. It can wear down over time, turning into sand. The mountain it came from can erode. Everything physical changes, falls apart eventually. But a powerful idea, that can last for thousands of years. Think about ancient Greek ideas of justice or beauty. People still talk about them, write about them, are inspired by them today. The physical scrolls they were written on might have crumbled, but the ideas themselves live on. Plato, a really old philosopher, believed that perfect ideas, like the idea of a perfect circle or perfect justice, existed in a special place. And the things we see in the world are just imperfect copies of those perfect ideas. For him, the idea of a circle was more real than any circle you could draw with a compass. This might sound wild, but here's how it makes sense. Think about your favorite song. You can listen to it on your phone. Sure, your phone is a real object, but the song itself, the melody, the lyrics, the feelings it gives you, that isn't physical. It lives in the air as sound waves for a moment, and then it lives in your mind, in your memory, and in the feelings it stirs. The phone might break, but the song, the idea of the song, can stay with you forever, passed down, remembered, sung by others. It has a power, the phone, DOESN, single quotes, T. So maybe a rock just is, but a thought does. It shapes our world, builds cities, starts movements, inspires art, creates love, even when the thinkers are long gone. It reminds us that the invisible world inside our heads holds an incredible, enduring power. Our thoughts are not just fleeting moments, they can be the very foundation of reality. That good deeds aren't good if you want a reward. Have you ever stopped to think why we do good things? Is it to feel good about ourselves? To get a thank you? Or maybe even because we hope someone will do something good back for us? It's a question that makes you pause, isn't it? Because some deep thinkers believe that if you do a good deed, but you're secretly hoping for a reward, a compliment, or even just to look good, then it's not truly a good deed in the purest sense. Imagine an ancient idea, brought into focus by a philosopher named Immanuel Kant, hundreds of years ago. He suggested that for an action to be truly moral, it has to come from what he called a good will. This means you do something because it's the right thing to do, purely and simply, not because it feels nice, or because you'll get something out of it. It's about the intention, the reason why you act. If your reason is to gain something, even something small like praise, then the goodness of the act gets a little bit clouded. It's like doing your chores only if your parents promise you extra screen time. Is that truly helping out? Or is it a transaction? Think about it this way. You see a classmate drop all their books in the hallway. You rush over to help them pick everything up. That feels good, right? But now, imagine you only helped because you saw your favorite teacher watching, and you wanted them to think you're a good person. Does that pure feeling of helpfulness still shine as brightly? It's not that helping is bad, but the reason behind it shifted. The true value, in this view, comes from the quiet, internal decision to do good, simply because it's right. No spotlight needed, no reward expected, just the quiet knowing that you chose kindness. It asks us to look inside ourselves. What truly drives us when we reach out to help? Is it the quiet integrity of choosing good, or the hope for something in return? And maybe, just maybe, the deepest satisfaction comes from those moments when we act purely, knowing the only reward is the deed itself. That time might not actually be moving forward. Have you ever stopped to think about time? We say it moves forward, like a river. But what if that's not true? What if time isn't moving at all? This isn't new. Ancient thinkers wondered if all moments past, present, future aren't happening one after another. Instead, they thought all moments just are, existing together, always. A quiet mystery. Think of a giant, still landscape. You stand in one spot now, but every mountain, every valley, every tree already exists in that vast view. You just explore it. Here's a simpler way. Think of your favorite book. You turn pages, experiencing the story, but the whole story, every word, every chapter, is already written. It just is. The book isn't moving forward. It's complete. You just discover it. Even scientists like Albert Einstein saw time and space as parts of one big fabric. He suggested past or future is just about where you look in that fabric, not truly gone or not here yet. So, if every moment past, present, future is already woven into existence, what does that mean? Your laughter from last summer isn't gone. Your hopes for next year aren't waiting. They are all part of one huge, beautiful tapestry. This idea can feel strange, yet it connects you deeply to everything. It sparks a quiet wonder, making every second feel part of something vast and timeless. That we're all just parts of one big thing. Have you ever looked up at the stars on a clear night and felt really small, but also like you belonged to something huge? It's a strange feeling, right? Well, some philosophers have spent their lives thinking about this exact idea, that maybe we aren't just separate people, living our own separate lives. Instead, they believe we are all like tiny pieces woven into one giant, amazing tapestry. It's an ancient thought. Actually, long, long ago, thinkers in places like Greece and India wondered if everything we see, every person, every animal, every mountain, every river, is actually just different forms of the same basic thing. They imagined a sort of invisible energy or shared spirit that flows through everything, connecting it all. Think of it like this. All the cells in your body are different. You have skin cells, bone cells, blood cells, but they all work together, part of you. They aren't separate creatures. They make up one human being. And that's kind of how this idea works for the whole world. We might look different, speak different languages, or live in different places, but underneath it all, there's a deep connection. Like different branches on the same enormous tree, or various waves in the same vast ocean. When one wave rises, it affects the others. When one branch struggles, the whole tree feels it. So, if we truly are all parts of one big thing, what does that mean? It means that how we treat each other, how we treat the earth, really matters. Because if we hurt one part, we're hurting the whole, and that means we're hurting ourselves. It's a quiet reminder that we're never truly alone, and that caring for others is just a way of caring for the larger, shared existence we are all a part of. It brings a gentle sense of peace, knowing we belong. That pain can actually be a good teacher. Have you ever stopped to think if something difficult, something that truly hurts, might actually hold a secret lesson? It feels strange to even consider, doesn't it? Our first instinct is always to avoid pain, to push it away. But what if pain, in its own harsh way, is trying to tell us something important? What if it's not just an enemy, but sometimes a reluctant guide? For centuries, people who thought deeply about life, philosophers, have explored this idea. They realized that pain, whether it's physical or emotional, often acts like a powerful signal. It screams, "Pay attention." It forces us to notice things we might otherwise ignore. Think about a time you touched something hot. The sharp, instant pain tells you clearly, "Don't do that again." You learn a boundary, quickly and effectively. That simple, clear lesson keeps you safe in the future. It's similar with emotional pain. Imagine failing at something you really cared about, like a big project or a sports tryout. That crushing disappointment, that hollow feeling, can hurt deeply. But here's the thing, that pain often makes us ask, why did this happen? We might reflect on what we could have done differently. Maybe we needed to practice more, or ask for help, or learn a new skill. The discomfort pushes us to change, to find new ways, to grow. Ancient thinkers, like the Stoics, believed facing hardships built inner strength. They knew it wasn't fun, but they saw the wisdom in learning from struggle. No one chooses pain. No one wishes for it. But when it arrives uninvited, it offers a stark opportunity. It reminds us of what we value, what we need to protect, or where we need to heal. And by listening to its difficult message, instead of just shutting it out, we can often discover a deeper part of ourselves. We learn resilience. We learn compassion for others who also suffer. And maybe, just maybe, we become a bit wiser, carrying the quiet strength of lessons learned through hardship into whatever comes next. That what's real depends on your mind. Have you ever stopped to wonder if the world you see and feel around you is exactly the same world someone else sees and feels? It's a quiet thought, one that can make you pause. Imagine for a moment that the trees outside, the colors of a sunset, even the taste of your favorite food, aren't just fixed things. What if how real they truly are for you, how they exist in your experience, is deeply connected to what's happening inside your own mind? For centuries, some of the greatest thinkers have asked this very question. They explored the idea that our minds aren't just passive windows looking out at a solid, unchanging world. Instead, they suggested that our minds are incredibly active. They interpret, filter, and even shape the reality we experience. It's like a sculptor's hands working on clay, constantly molding what we perceive. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine you and a friend are listening to the same song. The notes are the same, the words are the same. But for you, maybe that song makes you feel incredibly happy, reminding you of a perfect summer day with no worries. For your friend though, that exact same song might bring a deep sadness, maybe because it reminds them of someone they miss. The sound is objective, but the reality of that song, its emotional weight and meaning, depends entirely on the memories and feelings stored in each of your minds. So, the world isn't just out there. It's also in here, inside each of us. This means our minds aren't just receivers, they're powerful creators. They paint our personal picture of reality with unique colors of our memories, our mood, our beliefs. And knowing this can make you look at the world, and at other people, with a little more wonder, and a lot more understanding, because everyone is living in a world that is, in a profound way, their very own. That we should question everything, even gravity. Have you ever just accepted something as true, without truly asking why? We wake up, the sun always seems to rise, and if you drop something, it falls. We call that gravity. It feels so certain, so unbreakable, like the most basic rule of our world. But what if a philosopher suggests we should gently question even that fundamental idea? This isn't about denying what we see, or trying to prove established facts wrong. It's about a deeper kind of curiosity, a quiet inner voice that asks, how do we know this for sure? What if there's more to understand? Imagine people long ago who believed the sun revolved around the earth, because that's what their eyes told them. It took brave thinkers, like Galileo, to question that common belief, using new observations and careful thought. And when we think of Isaac Newton, we often picture the apple. But the true genius wasn't just seeing the apple fall, it was wondering why it fell, seeking the unseen forces at play, and challenging what everyone simply took for granted. It's like when you hear a story or a news report, you could just accept it. Or, you could pause and wonder, what's the other side of this story? What information am I missing? How does this really connect to my life? That gentle push to look deeper turns simple information into something you truly own and understand. It makes you an active participant in your own thinking, rather than just a receiver. So, when we talk about questioning gravity, we're really exploring a powerful way of being in the world. It's an invitation to look beyond the surface, to find wonder in the familiar, and to build a mind that isn't afraid to explore. This kind of thoughtful questioning doesn't make our world unstable. It makes it richer, clearer, and much more profoundly our own. It's how we truly awaken to the beauty and complexity of everything around us, discovering not just answers, but deeper wisdom and connection. That boredom can lead to great ideas. Have you ever just sat there, doing nothing? No phone, no game, just ... quiet. That feeling, that empty space we call boredom, it's often seen as a bad thing, like something we need to fix right away. But what if it's not? What if, in those moments where our minds have nothing to focus on, something really important starts to happen? Ancient thinkers, long ago, hinted at this. They knew deep thought often came from quiet time, not from being busy. Philosophers like Pascal, the smart guy from centuries ago, talked about how people avoid boredom, but maybe, by running from it, we're actually running from a secret path to our best thinking. Our brains need a break from all the noise. When it goes quiet, our minds wander. They connect dots not obvious before. Think about being in the shower, or just staring out the window on a long bus ride. You're not trying to solve anything, just ... there. Then, out of nowhere, an idea pops into your head. Maybe it's a solution for a school project, or a new way to understand something confusing. This isn't magic. Here's the thing, it's your brain, finally free to play. It's making new connections, building new pathways, because it's not overloaded. Like a computer clearing its memory for a big new program. That quiet time lets your brain sort things out, find hidden patterns, and create something new. So, the next time boredom creeps in, don't fight it. Don't grab your phone right away. Instead, just sit with it for a moment. Feel that quiet hum of your mind. See where it takes you. You might find that within that stillness, within that peaceful empty space, a spark ignites. A thought, an idea, a feeling that shows you something deeper about yourself or the world around you. It's a gentle reminder that some of the greatest discoveries often begin not with a bang, but with a quiet, patient wait. That words don't always mean what you think. Have you ever used a word, certain of its meaning, only for someone else to understand it differently? It's a strange feeling, like speaking the same language but on different planets. This happens more often than we realize. Here's the thing. We expect words to be solid. You say house, everyone pictures one. But words aren't always like that. They're more like water, changing shape depending on the speaker and listener. Even ancient philosophers noticed this. They wondered how to agree on justice or love if everyone held different mental pictures. They saw words carried feelings and experiences. What felt just to one might feel unfair, even with the same word. It makes you think. Consider free. A free cookie means no cost. Feeling free after homework is deep relief, a lightness. A free country means rights and choices, not being controlled. People even fight for that freedom. The word free holds three very different emotional meanings about money, personal feeling, and society's big promises. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we misunderstand, not just missing words, but their hidden lives? It's a quiet reminder to listen closely, to ask what someone really means. Understanding isn't just hearing sounds, it's trying to feel the world through another's eyes, even when their words seem familiar. That brings kindness, patience, and a deep wonder at the secrets in just one small word. That justice isn't about rules, it's about fairness. Have you ever felt like a rule was broken, but deep down, nothing truly unfair happened? Or maybe a rule was followed perfectly, but it still felt wrong. It's a thought that asks us to look beyond the letter of the law. Philosophers sometimes say that true justice isn't just about following every single written rule. Instead, it's about something deeper, fairness. It's about making sure everyone gets what they truly deserve, in a way that feels right and balanced for everyone involved. Think back to ancient Greece, a long, long time ago. Thinkers like Aristotle, even then, were trying to figure this out. He talked about something called equity. He understood that sometimes a strict rule, meant for everyone, might not fit a special situation perfectly. So, for things to be truly fair, you might need to bend the rule a little, or look at the unique story behind it. It's like rules are a guide, but fairness is the real destination. Imagine your teacher says everyone gets 10 minutes to present their project. That's the rule. But what if one student's computer crashes right as they start, and it takes them 5 minutes to get it working again? Following the rules strictly means they only get 5 minutes left. But what's truly fair? It would be to give them the full 10 minutes after their computer is fixed, right? Because the goal isn't just to follow the clock. It's for everyone to have a real chance to show their work. That extra time makes the situation fair, even if it means adjusting the original 10-minute rule. This idea teaches us to think with our hearts, as much as our heads. It reminds us that rules are important. Yes, they keep things organized and safe, but true justice, the kind that helps people feel truly understood and respected, often asks us to pause, to ask ourselves, is this truly fair? It's about seeing the human story behind every situation, and choosing kindness and balance over just blind obedience. And that's a powerful way to see the world. That being confused is a good start. Have you ever felt truly lost in thought, like deeply unsure of what's happening, or what the real answer might be. That fuzzy feeling, when your mind feels tangled, can feel frustrating. But here's the thing. That confusion can be a secret superpower. It's not a sign you're failing. Often, it means your mind is waking up, trying to grab onto something new and important. Confusion is like a quiet signal. It tells you that you've stumbled upon an edge, a place where what you thought you knew doesn't quite fit anymore. Think about deep thinkers, like the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates. He was famous for saying he knew nothing at all. He wasn't being humble or silly. He meant that truly understanding how much you don't know is the very first step toward wisdom. He embraced his own confusion. For him, it didn't mean he was dumb. It showed him where to ask more questions, to dig deeper. It meant he was on the brink of learning something truly important, something hidden just beyond what was obvious. Imagine you're trying to figure out a tricky puzzle, one with hundreds of tiny pieces. At first, looking at all those parts, you might feel totally confused. Where do I even begin? But that initial feeling, that slight overwhelm, is what pushes you. It makes you look closer, try different connections, even mess up. That confusion gently guides you. It helps you see patterns, and, slowly, piece by piece, the whole picture starts to emerge. That first jumble wasn't a stop sign. It was the starting line for discovery. So, the next time your thoughts feel messy, or you don't understand something right away, try to take a deep breath. Don't fight that feeling of not knowing. Instead, gently welcome it. That moment of genuine confusion is a precious gift. It's an open invitation to explore, to question, and to learn something profound. It means you're on your way to seeing something deeper, something you never would have found if everything had been clear from the start. It's in the fog that new paths often appear. That a perfect world might be a boring world. Have you ever stopped to think about what a truly perfect world would feel like? Imagine if nothing ever went wrong. No sadness, no challenges, no mistakes. Everything always exactly how you wanted it, all the time. Sounds pretty amazing, right? But here's the thing a lot of philosophers wonder about. Could a world like that actually be boring? It's a strange idea. We usually wish for perfection. We want straight A's, sunny days, and for our favorite teams to always win. But think about it. If the sun always shined, would we ever truly appreciate a clear, starry night? If every test was an automatic A, would studying even feel rewarding? Some old Greek thinkers, like Epicurus, believed that happiness was about having a calm mind and not suffering. But they also understood that a full life involves more than just the absence of pain. Here's an example. Think about your favorite video game. What makes it fun? It's not just winning every single time, is it? It's the challenge. It's figuring out a tricky puzzle, or finally beating a tough boss after many tries. That feeling of success, that rush, comes because you struggled a bit. If you just pressed a button and won every level instantly, you'd probably stop playing pretty fast. There would be no story, no growth. So, maybe imperfection isn't always bad. Maybe those small struggles, those times when things don't go perfectly, are what make the good times shine even brighter. They teach us, they push us, and they help us understand what we truly value. Life's beauty might just be found in its wild, unpredictable mix of everything, not just the smooth, flawless parts. It's in the contrast that we find depth and meaning. That thinking about death helps you live better. Asterisk, asterisk. That thinking about death helps you live better. Asterisk, asterisk. It might sound a little strange, but what if thinking about the end of things actually helps you live better, right now? It's not about being sad or scared. It's more about a deep, quiet truth. Our time here is precious. Here's the thing. Sometimes, when we act like we'll live forever, we put off important stuff. We wait to say sorry, or to try a new hobby, or to really tell someone we care. But what if realizing life has an end makes every single moment more vibrant? It helps us wake up to the gift of today. For a really long time, people have thought about this idea. Ancient thinkers, like the Stoics in Greece and Rome, used a phrase, memento mori, which means remember you will die. They didn't say it to make people gloomy. Instead, it was a powerful reminder to live with purpose, to be fair, and to appreciate every breath. It helped them focus on what truly mattered. Think about your phone or tablet. When the battery icon turns red, showing you only have 10% left, what do? You don't just put it down and ignore it. Instead, you quickly finish that message, or save your game, or check that one thing you needed. you become super focused on using the remaining power wisely. This can help you understand how thinking about limits makes us value what we have more. So this quiet reflection isn't meant to make us fearful. Instead, it's a gentle nudge. It's a call to notice small wonders, to choose kindness, to tell the people we love that we love them. It's about making the most of the time we have, so each day feels full and real. It reminds us not to take today for granted, but to live it fully, with an open heart. That your identity isn't fixed, it changes. Have you ever looked at old photos of yourself? Maybe from when you were little, or even just a few years ago. You might see someone who looks a lot like you, but also a little different. And that's okay, because here's a thought some philosophers share. Who you are isn't a solid, unchanging statue. It's more like a flowing river. Each day, each moment, brings new water. You aren't exactly the same person you were yesterday, or even an hour ago. Your thoughts shift, your feelings evolve, and the things you care about can change. This idea can feel a little strange, right? Like, if I'm not fixed, then what am I? Think about it. Long, long ago, a philosopher named Heraclitus said you can't step into the same river twice, because the river itself is always moving, always new water. He meant that everything is constantly changing, and that includes us. So, yourself isn't a permanent thing locked inside you. It's a journey. Remember how you used to love a certain game or band, and now you're into something completely different. Or how maybe you felt shy in elementary school, but now you love speaking up in class. Those aren't small changes. They are part of you becoming a new version of yourself. Your brain is even changing, building new connections based on what you learn and experience. And that's a scientific fact, not just a philosophy. This idea that your identity changes, it isn't meant to make you feel lost. Instead, it can bring a deep sense of peace. It means you are always growing, you are always becoming, and that's okay. It gives you room to try new things, to learn from mistakes, and to explore who you might be next. There's beauty in that constant, gentle flow. You don't have to be one thing forever. You get to be many things, through time, as you live and learn. That logic is more important than feelings. Have you ever had that strange feeling, like your heart and your head are having an argument? One wants to follow how you feel, maybe towards something easy or fun. The other whispers about what makes sense, what's fair, or what's actually true. Philosophers sometimes lean heavily on that second voice. They wonder if pure, clear logic should always be our guide. Even when our emotions are screaming. It's a powerful idea that our feelings, as real and strong as they are, can sometimes lead us astray. Think about it. When you're angry, you might say things you don't mean. When you're really excited, you might make a choice that isn't the smartest in the long run. Ancient thinkers, like the Stoics in Greece, thought a lot about this. They believed that getting carried away by strong feelings like joy or sadness could actually prevent us from thinking clearly and making good decisions. They tried to train themselves to see things with a calm, reasonable mind, trusting facts and reason above all else. Here's the thing. Imagine a doctor. They might feel deep sadness for a patient who is very sick. But to help that patient, the doctor can't let those sad feelings take over. They have to use their medical knowledge, their logic, to figure out the best treatment. They look at the symptoms, the tests, the science. That's logic at work, making a difficult decision with a clear head. Because the stakes are high. It's not about becoming robots who never feel anything. That's not possible, and it wouldn't be human. But it's about asking if there are times when stepping back from our emotions, even for a moment, helps us see a deeper truth. It's about understanding that sometimes the quiet, steady path of reason can lead us to choices that are more just, more honest, and ultimately more kind in a lasting way. It's a journey into knowing when to listen to your heart and when to truly listen to your mind. That sometimes doing nothing is the best action. Have you ever felt that quiet tug, the one that tells you to pause, even when everyone else is rushing? We're often taught to be busy, always moving, but here's the thing. Sometimes, the wisest choice, the most powerful move, is to do nothing at all. It feels strange, doesn't it? Because doing nothing sounds like laziness, but it's not. This is about a deep, thoughtful pause. It's understanding when action might make things worse, or when waiting lets clarity come into view. It's a purposeful stillness, a choice to not interfere. Think about ancient thinkers, like the old philosophers in China. They had a concept called wu-wei. It means effortless action or non-action. They believed that sometimes, by not forcing things, letting situations unfold naturally, achieved better outcomes. It's like water finding its path around a stone, not smashing through it. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine you're trying to untangle a really tricky knot in a shoelace. Your first instinct might be to pull harder, force it apart. But what usually happens? It gets tighter, right? A stubborn mess. But here's what I found. If you stop, breathe, look at the knot, maybe even step away for a minute, when you come back, your fingers are calmer, and often you see a gentle way to loosen it. That pause, that moment of intentional stillness, isn't weakness. It's a deep strength. It's trusting that not every problem needs an immediate, noisy solution. Sometimes, the most profound answers whisper to us only when we are quiet enough to hear them. It's okay to just be, and let the world breathe with you. That beauty isn't in the eye, but in the idea. Have you ever looked at something and thought, that's beautiful, but then someone else looked at it and just shrugged? We often say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that's true, in a way, for what we personally like. But here's the thing. What if there's a different kind of beauty? A beauty that isn't just about what our eyes see or what our feelings tell us, but something deeper, something about the very idea of it. Philosophers have thought about this for thousands of years. Long, long ago, a really smart Greek guy named Plato suggested something wild. He believed that beyond the world we see and touch, there's a perfect world of forms or ideas. Imagine a perfect circle. You can draw many circles, some wobbly, some pretty good, but can you ever draw a truly perfect circle? One with every single point exactly the same distance from the center? Probably not. Even with a compass, there's always a tiny flaw. Yet, we all understand what a perfect circle is. The idea of it exists, even if we can't perfectly create it in our world. So, Plato would say the idea of the perfect circle is beautiful, even more beautiful than any drawing. It's beautiful because it's pure, unchanging, and flawless in its concept. Think about a scientific law, like gravity. You can't see gravity, but its rule is elegant, always true, and in a strange way, beautiful in its pure, simple truth. Or the idea of perfect fairness. We strive for it, even when real life is messy. The beauty isn't just in seeing a fair act, but in the powerful, clear idea of fairness itself. This way of thinking makes us wonder. Maybe true beauty isn't just about a pretty sunset or a favorite song, but about recognizing a glimpse of something ideal, something perfectly formed in our minds. It's about a quiet, powerful feeling you get when an idea just clicks and feels right. A deep sense of understanding. It suggests that sometimes the most profound beauty lives not just in the world outside us, but in the very core of our thoughts and understanding. It's a deep, quiet wonder at the perfect patterns hidden within everything. A feeling of awe for the perfect shapes that ideas can take. That freedom means understanding your limits. Doesn't freedom feel like having no limits at all? Like you can do anything, go anywhere, be anyone? It's a powerful idea. But what if true freedom, the kind that feels deep and lasting, actually comes from knowing your limits? This might sound strange at first. We often think of limits as things that hold us back. A cage, a fence, a no-entry sign. But imagine a different kind of limit. Think of a river. It flows so freely, rushing and winding, sparkling in the sun. It seems wild and untamed. Yet, it moves within the banks that hold it. Those banks aren't trapping the river. They're giving it direction, purpose, and form. Without them, the water would just spread out, becoming a shallow puddle, losing its power and its path. Many wise thinkers from ancient times understood this. They saw that we can't control everything around us. The weather, what other people say, what happens tomorrow. But here's the thing, we can control how we react to these things. We can choose our own thoughts, our own actions. Accepting what we cannot change, and focusing our energy on what we can change, is where a quiet strength lies. This understanding isn't about giving up, it's about finding your true power within what's real. Think about learning to play a video game. You don't just pick up the controller and beat the final boss. You learn the rules of the game. You figure out what each button does, what moves your character can make, and what obstacles you need to avoid. These are like limits, but by understanding them, by practicing within those rules, you become truly skilled. You can move your character with a fluid ease, overcome challenges, and experience the game's full adventure. You are free to play and enjoy the game because you understand its boundaries. True freedom isn't a wide open space with no boundaries. It's a deeply understood landscape where you know your own edges, your own strengths, and what's truly within your grasp. And that's why it matters. This kind of freedom brings a calmness, a feeling of being steady and strong, no matter what happens around you. It's about knowing yourself, and that knowledge lets you move through the world with a deeper peace. That everything is connected, like an invisible web. Have you ever felt it? This quiet sense that things aren't just random, that maybe, just maybe, everything in our world links together, like threads in a giant, unseen tapestry. It's a feeling many people have shared throughout history. This idea suggests that every action, every thought, every single living thing isn't truly separate. Instead, it's all part of one huge, living system. Think about ancient thinkers, like those in Eastern philosophies, or even some early Greek philosophers. They weren't just looking at individual objects. They were trying to see the whole picture. They believed that if you pull on one thread, you affect the entire fabric. They saw the world as a dance of connections, where nothing happens in isolation. Here's what I mean. Imagine your school. One student decides to start a kindness club. That small choice doesn't just affect that one student. It might make another student feel brave enough to join. Then more join. Soon, the whole school atmosphere feels a little different, a little brighter. Or think about a forest. A tiny squirrel burying an acorn isn't just feeding itself. That acorn might grow into a mighty oak, providing shelter for birds, food for other animals, and even clean air for us. Every small part plays a role in the bigger story. It's a thought that can make you feel both small and incredibly important at the same time. It reminds us that our choices, big or small, ripple outwards. Our laughter, our kindness, even our struggles, they all become part of this amazing, invisible web. And that's why it matters, because understanding this can help us see the beauty and importance in every moment, and in every connection we make. That a choice you have to make isn't a real choice. Have you ever felt trapped? Like you had to pick something, but your heart wasn't really in it? It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Like when someone says, choose wisely, you can either do your homework or fail the class. Is that truly a choice you're making freely? Or is it more like a hidden command, a path already set for you by circumstances? This subtle difference, this quiet tension, has puzzled thinkers for thousands of years. From ancient times, philosophers wondered if we truly make our own decisions, or if life just pushes us along. They'd often say, if the world gives you only one good option, and all the others are truly terrible, your choice is already made for you. A real choice, they believed, comes from a place of genuine inner freedom. It needs the true option to say yes or no, to pick this path or that, and truly mean it from your soul. If there's only one road you can realistically and reasonably take, can we truly say it's a path you chose to walk, or merely the only one open? Imagine your parents tell you, you can either clean your room right now, or you're grounded for a week. You pick cleaning your room. Was that a free choice, born of personal desire? Or was it simply avoiding a much worse outcome, a forced acceptance of the lesser bad? It feels less like a choice springing from your own will, and more like a necessary action, doesn't it? You didn't want to clean, but you felt you had to. This makes us deeply reflect on what freedom really means in our lives. Sometimes, the paths we walk aren't truly chosen from a place of deep personal desire. Instead, they are simply taken because the other options feel impossible, or too painful, or just plain unacceptable. These aren't choices we lovingly embrace. They are necessities we quietly accept. So, the next time you choose something you don't truly want, take a quiet moment, acknowledge the emotional weight of that decision. Understand that some choices are less about personal will and more about the hand life deals you, or the circumstances you face. And there is a quiet strength, a profound wisdom, in recognizing and accepting that crucial difference within yourself. That silence can tell you a lot. Have you ever just sat in a truly quiet room? Not just without music or TV, but truly quiet. It's rare, right? And sometimes it can feel a little bit strange, maybe even a little bit heavy. But here's the thing, that quiet isn't always empty. Sometimes silence can speak louder than words. It's not just the absence of noise, it's a space where feelings gather, where thoughts echo, where things unsaid become incredibly clear. A philosopher might say that silence is a language all its own, full of meaning if we just learn how to listen to it. Think about ancient thinkers, even way back to people like Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher. He believed in the power of quiet. His students sometimes had to stay silent for years before they were allowed to speak in his classes, not just to learn, disciplined, but to learn how to truly hear and how to think deeply. He understood that true understanding often comes from within. When the outside noise fades away, imagine you're with a friend, and you've just shared something really important, or maybe you've asked a big question, and they don't answer right away. There's a moment of silence. What does that silence tell you? It could mean they're thinking hard, choosing their words carefully. It could mean they're surprised. It could even mean they're feeling the same thing you are, and no words are needed. That silence holds so much. It's like the pause in a song that makes the next note even more powerful. So, the next time things go quiet, don't rush to fill the space. Just listen. Pay attention to that stillness. It might be trying to tell you something important about yourself, about someone else, or about the moment you're in. There's a quiet wisdom there, waiting for you to notice it. And that's why it matters. That mistakes are the only way to learn. Have you ever felt that sinking feeling when you realize you've made a mistake? That moment when something you tried just didn't work out? Here's the thing. What if that feeling, that stumble, is actually the most important part of learning? What if getting things wrong isn't a dead end, but a necessary turn on the road to understanding? Many deep thinkers throughout time have believed this, that we don't just learn from mistakes, but that mistakes are the very engine of learning itself. Think about someone like Thomas Edison. He tried thousands of times to create a working light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He didn't see those attempts as failures. He saw them as lessons, each one teaching him what not to do, bringing him closer to what would work. His path to success was quite literally paved with thousands of these mistakes, each one a crucial step. It's kind of like when you're trying to learn a new trick on a skateboard, or even just baking a new recipe. You fall off the board 100 times, right? Or your first cake might be burnt, or flat. But each time you mess up, your brain quietly figures something out. You adjust your balance. You measure the flour more carefully. You learn not just what to do, but also all the many surprising ways it can't be done. And that knowledge, that quiet, deeply earned understanding, comes only from those wrong turns. So, the next time you trip up, or get something wrong, maybe try not to see it as a failure. See it as a signpost. See it as a whisper from the universe, guiding you. Because sometimes, the only way forward is to first find all the paths that lead nowhere. It's a powerful idea, that our errors aren't flaws, but gifts that show us the way to grow. And that's why it matters. That rules are sometimes meant to be broken carefully. Have you ever looked at a rule and felt a quiet question inside you? Not anger, but a soft whisper of why. It's a feeling when something just doesn't sit right, even if it's how things have always been done. Here's the thing. Rules are important. They give us structure and help us feel safe. But sometimes, a rule, even a good one, can hold us back. It might stop us from finding a better way. This isn't about causing trouble for fun. It's about understanding when a boundary needs to shift, and doing so with deep thought and care. It's about truly seeing, not just blindly following. Think about science. For ages, people believed Earth was the unmoving center of the universe. That was the absolute rule. But thinkers like Nicolaus Copernicus quietly observed stars. He didn't just protest. He spent years carefully gathering facts, building a new idea. The sun was at the center. His challenge wasn't reckless. It came from careful thought, a brave step. Consider your daily life. Maybe a project's instructions say to use only specific materials, but you realize gently adding a different texture could make your piece truly come alive without ruining its core purpose. You think about why this small change matters. You break the rule carefully, with purpose, enhancing the work. So, this is a deep thought. True wisdom isn't just about following every direction. It's about knowing when to pause, when to adapt, and when to softly try a new path. It takes quiet courage. It means taking responsibility for your understanding, acting from careful consideration. And that's why it matters. Progress, and often kindness, bloom from such thoughtful acts. That what's normal is just what everyone agrees on. Have you ever stopped to wonder what normal really means? Like, why is it normal to walk on the right side of the hallway, or to eat dinner with a fork? It's funny, because if you really think about it, a lot of what we call normal isn't some universal law. Here's the thing. Often, normal is just what most people have decided to do or believe. It's like a big, unspoken agreement we all sign up for, without even realizing it. We just follow along because everyone else is. This idea isn't new. Philosophers, even ancient ones, have thought about this. They noticed that what was considered right or true in one place wasn't the same somewhere else. What one culture called normal, another found strange. It made them realize that many of our shared ideas aren't fixed in stone. They're more like invisible lines we draw together, creating the map of how we think the world should be. Think about fashion, for instance. One year, ripped jeans are totally normal and cool. Everyone wears them. But 10 years ago, an adult might have looked at those same jeans and thought, why would you wear damaged clothes? The jeans didn't change. What changed was the collective agreement about what looked good, about what was normal to wear. Or in science, people used to think the earth was flat. That was a normal belief. Then, evidence changed minds, and the agreement shifted. So now, thinking the earth is flat is definitely not normal. It's about what people decide to accept as true or correct. So, when we call something normal, we're really saying it's popular or commonly accepted. And that means normal can shift. It can change over time, and it can be different from place to place. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What parts of our world are just agreements? What if we decided to agree on something else? It reminds us that our world is shaped by our shared ideas, not always by some unchangeable truth. And that thought, that simple idea, can be quite powerful. That maybe animals think like us, just differently. Have you ever watched a dog staring out the window, or a cat silently stalking a toy, and wondered what was really going on inside their heads? What if they aren't just reacting, but thinking? For a long time, many people, even smart philosophers, believed that only humans truly thought, felt complex emotions, or had a sense of self. Animals, they thought, were just like living machines, running on instinct. But here's the thing, what if that's not quite right? What if animals do think, but their thoughts are shaped by a world we can barely imagine? It's not about them thinking better or worse than us, but just profoundly differently. Their minds might work on a whole other channel. Thinkers going way back, like the ancient Greeks, and even modern scientists today, have grappled with this. They started to see that animals aren't just robots. They showed joy, fear, maybe even sadness. They solved problems. This made some wonder if our idea of thinking was too narrow, too human-focused. Perhaps intelligence isn't just about using words or complicated math, but about how you understand and interact with your world. Imagine a crow. It doesn't write poems or solve algebra, but it can use tools, remember faces, and even hold a grudge. A crow's mind is busy with crow things, finding shiny objects, figuring out how to get food from tricky places, maybe even teaching its young. Its thoughts are about surviving and thriving as a crow, using its unique crow. And that's incredible, isn't it? It's like they have their own language, their own way of making sense of everything, just not in human words. So, a philosopher might ask us to look at a squirrel burying a nut, or a dolphin leaping through waves, and feel a deep sense of wonder. It's a reminder that intelligence isn't one size. It's beautiful and mysterious how many different ways there are to be smart, to be alive, and to think on this earth. And maybe, just maybe, understanding this helps us understand ourselves a little better too. That the past and future are happening now. Have you ever looked at an old photo and felt like that moment was still alive, right here? Or thought about something happening tomorrow, and it felt almost real, like it's already on its way? For some, these feelings aren't just tricks of the mind. They believe time isn't a straight line, with the past disappearing and the future waiting to exist. Here's the thing. They suggest every moment yesterday, today, and tomorrow exists all at once. This is a big idea. It means the moment you were born, the moment you're reading this, and the moment you graduate high school are all just there, existing together in a vast, unchanging reality. It's like a book with all its pages printed. You're only reading page 50 now, but page 1 and page 200 are already present. You just haven't turned to them. The story isn't created as you read. It's already complete. Thinkers like Albert Einstein even explored ideas like this, seeing time as a dimension, not just something that flows. Think about light from a distant star. When you see that star, its light might have left thousands of years ago. So, what you're seeing now is actually the star's past. That moment literally arrives in your present. It shows how what we experience as now connects so deeply to then. It can feel strange to think this way, but here's what it might mean. Every cherished memory, every laugh, every challenge isn't truly gone. It simply is. And every dream for your future, every step you plan, it also is part of a bigger picture already painted. It brings quiet comfort, knowing the tapestry of your life, with all its past and future threads, is always whole, always present, in some profound way. It connects you to every second that has ever been, and every second yet to come. That having too many choices can be bad. Have you ever stood in front of a giant wall of cereal boxes, trying to pick just one? Or scrolled through endless movies on a streaming service, feeling more tired than excited? It seems like more choices should make us happier, right? Like having all the options in the world would be amazing. But here's the thing. Sometimes, having too many choices can actually make us feel stressed and less satisfied. It's a strange idea, but it's true. Thinkers long ago noticed something about human nature. While freedom to choose is good, too much freedom, especially in simple choices, can feel like a heavy weight. Our minds get tired from trying to weigh every single possibility. This is often called the paradox of choice. It means what looks like a gift of endless options can turn into a burden. We start to worry we might pick the wrong thing, or miss out on something even better. This can help you understand how our brains work. Imagine trying to choose a new video game. If there are only 5 really good games, you can probably pick one easily and feel excited. But what if there are 500 games? You start to worry you picked the wrong one, or that there's an even better game you missed. You might even give up and not pick any at all. Too many choices can freeze us, making us feel less happy with what we eventually pick. So maybe true happiness isn't always found in having every single option open to us. Sometimes it's about learning to be okay with good enough, or realizing that narrowing down our choices can bring a quiet kind of peace. It's about finding freedom not in endless possibilities, but in making a meaningful choice and feeling good about it. And that's why it matters. Understanding this can make daily decisions feel lighter and leave us feeling more content. That true power is over yourself, not others. Have you ever felt like you really wanted to control a situation? Maybe make someone do what you wanted, or change things to suit you. We often think power means making others follow our lead, getting them to agree. But what if real power isn't about that at all? What if it's about something far more personal, something completely within your own grasp? This isn't a new idea. Wise people throughout history have understood it. Think about ancient philosophers, like the Stoics, who lived thousands of years ago in Greece and Rome. They knew that many things in life are simply out of our control. We can't stop the rain, or make everyone like us. Trying to control these outside things, they believed, often leads to frustration and sadness. Instead, the Stoics taught us a different path. They believed our real power comes from within. It's about choosing how we react to everything that happens around us. We can't control the event itself, but we absolutely control our response. We choose our own thoughts, our own feelings, and our own actions. This inner freedom, this self-mastery, is a power no one can take away from you. No matter what challenges you face. Imagine you're having a really tough day at school. Maybe you got a bad grade, and a friend snapped at you. It would be easy to feel defeated, or to get angry. Your first reaction might be to complain, or lash out. But what if you paused? What if you decided to focus on what you could do? Maybe you choose to review the test later, or to calmly ask your friend what's wrong. This isn't ignoring the problem, it's choosing your response. It's like being the calm eye of a hurricane. All the chaos swirls around you, but your center stays still and strong. This kind of power is quieter. It doesn't shout or demand, but it is much, much stronger. It means you're not a puppet, reacting to every string someone else pulls, or every little problem. You become the master of your own mind, your own heart, your own path. And that, in a world full of things we can't control, is a truly amazing, deeply comforting belief. It means your peace, your strength, your whole sense of who you are, comes from within you, always. That the universe doesn't care about your feelings. Have you ever felt a deep sadness, a hurt that felt like it should stop everything, but the world just kept on going? The sun still came up, the birds still chirped. It's a strange, quiet feeling. This brings us to a big idea. The universe itself, in its vastness, doesn't actually have feelings for us. It doesn't celebrate our wins or mourn our losses. This isn't about the universe being mean, but simply neutral. Thinkers from long ago, like the Stoics in ancient Greece, saw this clearly. They taught that we control how we think and react, but not the world around us. An earthquake doesn't happen because the earth is mad. A big storm isn't brewing because it hates boats. These events just unfold, following their own rules, without thought for our hopes or heartaches. Here's an example. Imagine a huge, roaring waterfall. It pours endlessly, powerful. Now, picture a tiny flower growing nearby. If a splash breaks a petal, the waterfall isn't trying to be cruel. It doesn't even notice. It just follows its path. The flower's beauty, its life, its tiny hurt, none of it changes. The waterfall's flow. Our deepest feelings, our joys and heartbreaks, are like that tiny flower to the vast universe. They are everything to us. Yet the universe moves on, grand and uncaring. This idea can feel a little scary or lonely at first. But here's the thing. It can also be strangely freeing. If the universe isn't watching or judging, then our feelings, our choices, our efforts become even more important to us. We get to decide what we make of this indifferent, amazing existence. It reminds us to find our own warmth, our own meaning, in a world that simply is. That the best arguments have no winner. Have you ever had a discussion with a friend where you both felt really strongly about your side, but even after talking for ages, neither of you truly won? It's not about who changed their mind, but about how much you understood each other by the end. Sometimes, the most important conversations aren't about proving someone wrong or declaring a champion. They're about exploring ideas, opening your mind, and seeing the world through different eyes. Think about ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates. He loved to ask questions, not to win debates, but to help people think deeper about their own beliefs. He showed that when we truly dig into a big idea like what justice is, or what makes a good life, there often isn't one single, perfect answer that everyone agrees on. Instead, there are many rich, valid ways of looking at things. The goal isn't to defeat an opponent, but to learn, to grow, and to understand the many layers of truth. Here's the thing. Imagine you and your friend are debating whether pop music or classical music is better. You both have great points. One makes you want to dance, the other stirs a different kind of feeling in your soul. Is there a winner? Not really. Both types of music are amazing in their own ways, and appreciating both makes your world richer. The argument isn't about winning, it's about appreciating different sounds, different tastes, and understanding why someone might love one over the other. And maybe, just maybe, it helps you discover a new song you actually like. When we approach big questions with this mindset, we realize the real prize isn't victory. It's the journey itself, the deeper understanding, the wider perspective, the feeling of connection when you truly listen and grasp someone else's viewpoint. It means feeling okay with not having all the answers and finding beauty in the endless exploration. That our senses lie to us sometimes. Have you ever looked at something and truly believed it was one way, only to find out it was completely different? It's a strange thought, but sometimes what our eyes see, what our ears hear, or what our skin feels isn't quite the truth. Our senses are amazing tools, like windows to the world, but sometimes those windows can be a little warped. They don't always show us reality exactly as it is. They don't try to trick us, but their way of working can lead to surprising deceptions. Philosophers, long ago, often wondered about this. They questioned if we could truly trust what we experienced. Thinkers like Plato, thousands of years ago, imagined people living in a cave, only ever seeing shadows on a wall. To them, those shadows were everything. They didn't know a real world cast those shadows behind them. Later, others like Descartes famously wondered if our whole life was just a dream, so real we couldn't tell the difference. This question, about what's real and what our senses tell us, has puzzled minds for centuries. Think about optical illusions you might see in a book or online. Two lines might look like different lengths, but measuring them shows they're the same. Or imagine driving on a hot day and seeing what looks like water shimmering on the road far ahead, only for it to disappear as you get closer. That's a mirage, created by light bending through hot air. Our eyes show us something that isn't there, a trick of light, or even how our brain fills in sounds, making us think we heard something that wasn't there. This idea can feel unsettling. Knowing our basic connections to the world can mislead us, but it's also a powerful lesson. It teaches us to be humble about what we think we know. It asks us to look deeper, to question, and to see there's often more to reality than what our senses first show. It makes us think about how we understand the world. Knowing our own perception helps create it. It's a reminder to always stay curious, to never stop asking, is this truly how things are? that a perfect society is impossible. Have you ever pictured a world where everything is just right? Imagine a place with no arguments, no sadness, where everyone is always happy and agrees on everything. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? But here's the thing a philosopher would tell you. That perfect world, it's probably impossible to create and keep. For thousands of years, people have dreamed of a utopia, a place where everything is ideal. Ancient Greek thinkers wondered about it, and writers through history have created stories about these perfect lands. But they were always stories, not real places we could visit. The idea comes from a deep human wish for peace and harmony, a desire to fix all the problems we see around us. Think about a group project at school. Even if everyone tries their best and wants the same good grade, someone might have a different idea about how to do things. One person likes bright colors, another prefers calm tones. Someone wants to present first, another wants to write. Everyone has different thoughts, different feelings, and different ideas about what perfect even means for that one project. And that's okay. It's what makes us unique and interesting. But it also shows why getting everyone to agree on everything, all the time, forever, is incredibly hard. Humans are just too diverse, too full of individual desires and perspectives. We change, we learn, we grow, and with that comes new opinions and new ways of seeing the world. What feels perfect to one person might feel restrictive or boring to another. So, the idea isn't to be sad that true perfection isn't real. Instead, it's about understanding something deep about human nature. It means accepting that life and society will always have its challenges, its disagreements, and its messy bits. And maybe, just maybe, it's in those imperfections, in working through differences and learning from our mistakes, that we find the real beauty, the real strength, and the real growth of a community. It's in trying, not in achieving a flawless dream, that we find meaning. That you can learn from talking to dead people through books. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to sit down with someone from hundreds of years ago? Like, really talk to them, face to face. Ask them about their world, their worries, their biggest ideas. Here's the thing, in a very real way, you can. When you open a book written by someone who lived long ago, their true voice isn't gone. It's right there, whispering to you from the pages, ready to share its wisdom. Imagine reading the words of a philosopher like Plato from ancient Greece. He lived thousands of years ago, but his thoughts on justice, on what makes a good life, on how we should live together, they're still here. It's like he's explaining something complex directly to you, almost like a personal tutor from the past. And that's why it matters so much. You're not just reading words, you're connecting with a brilliant mind that shaped history. Think of it like this. If you found an old journal from your great-great-grandparent, filled with their stories and secrets, wouldn't that feel like they're reaching out, sharing a part of themselves with you? Even now, books are exactly like that, but on a grander, more powerful scale. They let us hear from poets who felt love and loss just like we do, from scientists who looked at the stars and asked the same huge questions about the universe. We get to see the world through their eyes, understand their daily challenges, and learn from their mistakes and triumphs. This quiet conversation reminds us that we are all part of a long, flowing river of human experience. Our own feelings, our questions about life, they aren't new or unique. Others have felt them, explored them, and left their deep wisdom for us to discover. It's a powerful connection that can truly help you understand yourself and the world around you, connecting you to every person who has ever wondered, hoped, or dreamed that being happy isn't the most important thing. Don't we all just want to be happy? Everyone tells us happiness is the main goal, but what if that's not the whole story? What if aiming only for happiness means we miss out on something deeper? Here's the thing, sometimes the most meaningful parts of life aren't about feeling cheerful all the time. They're about growing, learning, and becoming who you're meant to be, even when it's tough. The ancient Greeks, thinkers like Aristotle, didn't just talk about happiness. They thought about something bigger, called eudaimonia. It's more like flourishing or living a truly good, purposeful life. This kind of life includes joy, yes, but also striving, facing challenges, and being brave. Doing what's right or pushing yourself to learn new things can feel hard, even frustrating, but it makes you stronger. Take practicing a musical instrument, like a guitar. You hit wrong notes. It sounds bad. You get frustrated. You don't feel happy then, but you keep going. You push through. Slowly, you get better. You play a whole song. That feeling isn't just happiness. It's pride, accomplishment, a deep sense of growth. It's meaningful. Or think about helping a friend through a tough time. It might be draining, not a happy experience. But being there, showing empathy, that's incredibly important. It builds connection. So, happiness is wonderful, and we should welcome it. But maybe it's not the only thing to chase. A life truly lived isn't always a sunny day. Sometimes, it's about navigating storms, learning from them, and finding strength in quiet challenges. It's about building a life rich with purpose, connection, and growth. All kinds of feelings have their place. It's about being fully alive, not just constantly cheerful. That we're all playing a part in a big play. What if, right now, as you're going through your day, you're actually on a stage, not a real stage with bright lights and curtains, but a much bigger one. Imagine for a moment that life itself is like an enormous play, and every person you meet, every person on earth, has a role to fill. This isn't a new idea. It's one that thinkers have pondered for centuries. The great writer Shakespeare once said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." He meant that we each have our entrances and exits, and we play many different parts during our lives. Here's the thing. Think about a school play. You might be the hero, your friend the sidekick, another person the narrator. Each role, big or small, is vital to the story. If one person doesn't show up, or forgets their lines, the whole performance feels different. In the grand play of life, it's similar. You play the role of a student, a child, a friend, maybe a teammate, and sometimes you're a listener, other times a leader. Your interactions, your choices, your very presence shapes the scene for everyone else. This idea isn't meant to make life feel fake, or like you're not being yourself. Instead, it's a quiet reminder that what you do truly matters. Every word you speak, every kindness you show, every challenge you face, it's all part of the unfolding story. It helps us see that we are deeply connected, each of us needing the others to make this grand, mysterious story of humanity continue. And perhaps, knowing this, we can try to play our parts with a little more purpose and a lot more heart. That knowing what you don't want is important too. Have you ever felt that strange feeling? Like you're searching for something important, but you can't quite name what it is. It's a feeling of being a bit lost. Maybe. We often focus so much on chasing what we desire. We spend a lot of time thinking about what we do want. Our big dreams, our goals, the things we believe will make us happy. But here's the thing. Knowing what you don't want, what just doesn't feel right for you, can be just as powerful. It's like having a special map, but instead of only marking the treasure, you're also marking all the roads you definitely shouldn't take. This helps you avoid dead ends. Philosophers through history have pondered this deeply. Thinkers as old as the ancient Greeks understood that self-knowledge wasn't just about knowing your strengths. It was also about understanding your limits, your dislikes, and what doesn't truly align with who you are. Sometimes, you figure out who you are by discovering all the things you are not. This way of thinking, sometimes called negative knowledge, clears away what doesn't fit, making space for what genuinely belongs in your life. Imagine you're trying to pick an ice cream flavor at a huge parlor. There are so many choices, it's almost overwhelming. You might not know your absolute favorite right away, but you probably know what you definitely don't like. Maybe you've tried mint chocolate chip and know you hate it. Or, you know you really don't want anything with coconut. By ruling out these disliked options, you quickly narrow down the hundreds of choices. Suddenly, the perfect flavor for you feels much closer, clearer. It makes the decision easier. This powerful idea goes far beyond just choosing ice cream. It works for many important decisions, picking friends who uplift you, choosing subjects to study that spark your interest, or even deciding what kind of person you want to grow into. When you pay attention to what doesn't sit right with your heart, what feels false or doesn't resonate with your values, it helps you gracefully step away from those paths. And that's why it matters so deeply. It brings you closer to what truly lights you up, to your most authentic self. It gives you a quiet, deep wisdom, a calm understanding of where you genuinely belong in this world, and what makes your spirit feel at home. That true knowledge hurts a little. Have you ever learned something new, and it just didn't feel good? Maybe it was a fact about the world, or a truth about someone, or even about yourself. It's like finding out something you truly believed, something that felt safe, wasn't actually true. That feeling, that little sting, is what philosophers mean when they say true knowledge can hurt. Here's the thing. We often build our understanding on ideas that are easy and comfortable. We like simple answers. But real knowledge, the deep kind, often questions those easy answers. It challenges what we thought was solid. Think about Socrates, an old Greek thinker. He said that true wisdom starts with knowing how much you don't know. When you start to look at what you thought was true, you might find some gaps. Those gaps can feel uncomfortable, even a little painful. They mean you have to change your mind, adjust your view. Imagine your favorite childhood toy. It's perfect in your memory. Then, years later, you find it again. It's smaller, maybe a bit worn, not quite the magical thing you remembered. That little pang of disappointment, that's a tiny bit of what this feels like. The truth, that time changes things, can be a bit sad, even if it's real. It's not a huge pain, but a quiet, honest feeling. So, when knowledge feels a bit sharp, remember it's not always bad. It means you're growing. It means you're looking deeper, beyond the easy surface. It's like a muscle that gets sore after a good workout. The soreness means it's getting stronger. This kind of knowing, though it might sting a little, makes your understanding of the world much richer, much more real. And that's a powerful thing to carry with you. That a good question is better than an easy answer. Have you ever felt that quiet pull, that little spark of wonder, when you think about something really big? It's easy to want the quickest answer. A simple yes or no feels like relief. But sometimes, that relief hides something important. A quick answer can stop your thinking. A good question, though, is different. It opens doors. It makes your mind stretch. It doesn't just tell you what to believe, but invites you to discover why. That deep search is where real understanding lives. Think about the old Greek philosopher, Socrates. He walked around Athens thousands of years ago. He didn't give easy answers, but he asked questions. He made people think deeply, really dig into what they believed. He knew that just asking questions was a powerful tool. It was better to wrestle with a tough question, even if you never found the perfect answer, than to just accept something without thinking. He understood that sometimes the search itself is the treasure. Imagine you're building a Lego set, and a piece doesn't fit. You could force it, or find another, less suitable piece. The easy answer. But a good question would be, why isn't this piece fitting? Is it upside down? Am I looking at the wrong step? That question makes you pause, examine, and truly understand the design. You don't just solve the problem. You learn how the whole system works. It's about building knowledge, not just fixing one small thing. There's a quiet strength in choosing the unknown path of a difficult question over the comfort of a simple, quick solution. It means you value truth, or at least the journey towards it, more than just being right. It shows courage, a willingness to sit with uncertainty. And that, in itself, is a beautiful thing. It's how we truly learn, how we grow, and how we begin to see the world, not just as it is, but as it could be, in all its amazing complexity. That sometimes, doubt is your best friend. Have you ever felt that little voice inside you, asking, are you sure? It's not always a bad thing, that whisper of doubt. Here's the thing, sometimes, doubt is the most honest friend you can have. It doesn't mean you're weak or unsure of yourself. It means you're thinking. It means you're checking. Think about it like this. If you're building a tall tower, you don't just stack blocks blindly, right? You push a little. You check if it's stable. That moment of pause, that quick test, that's doubt in action. It keeps your tower from tumbling down later. Long ago, a smart thinker named René Descartes decided to doubt everything he thought he knew. Everything. He questioned his senses, his memories, even if the world around him was real. He did this not to feel lost, but to find something absolutely solid, something he couldn't possibly doubt. And through all that questioning, he found one thing he could be sure of. He was thinking. He existed. I think, therefore I am, he said. His doubt wasn't a dead end. It was the path to a clear, fundamental truth. So, how does this help you? Imagine you hear a rumor about someone. Instead of just believing it, that little flicker of doubt makes you pause. It makes you ask, is that really true? You might ask the person directly, or look for more information. That doubt protects you from spreading something untrue and helps you see the real story. It helps you form your own understanding, not just copy what others say. Doubt isn't about being negative, it's about being careful. It's about being curious enough to look closer, to dig a little deeper. It's a quiet strength, a gentle push to seek out clearer understanding. When you let doubt be your friend, you learn to trust your own mind, not just what's easy or what everyone else believes. It guides you to a more honest view of the world and of yourself. That thinking alone makes you stronger, Can thinking, really truly thinking, make you stronger? Not in a muscle-building way, of course, but deep down, where it truly matters. Imagine your mind isn't just a place where facts are stored. It's more like a quiet gym for your spirit. When you sit and truly wrestle with an idea, or try to understand something complex, you're doing mental push-ups. You are building something important. Long ago, some very wise people, like the Stoics in ancient Greece, believed this deeply. They thought that by training your mind to think clearly, to question, and to stay calm, you could become incredibly strong inside. They weren't focused on physical battles, but on the battles within ourselves. Fear, confusion, sadness. Their belief was that a well-trained mind could face anything life threw at it. Here's the thing. Think about planning a huge school project. At first, it might feel overwhelming. Your brain races, but then, you sit quietly. You start to break it down. You think about what you need to do first, then second, then who will do what. You consider possible problems and how to fix them. This isn't just problems, it's an act of inner strength. You are taking chaos and bringing order to it, just with your thoughts. This focused effort makes you feel more capable, more in control. Even before you've lifted a finger, it prepares you. So, it's not about being the loudest or knowing all the answers. It's about the quiet power of your own mind, the strength to pause, to reflect, to truly consider. This inner work, this thoughtful journey, builds resilience. It makes you ready for whatever comes next, a calm and steady presence in a sometimes noisy world. That the meaning of life isn't a secret code. Do you ever feel like there's a big secret out there, a hidden message about why we're here? Like if you just looked hard enough, you'd find the one answer, a hidden key that unlocks everything about your purpose. It's natural to want to find that deep, profound purpose. But here's the thing, many deep thinkers, the philosophers we learn from, understand that the meaning of life isn't like a secret code you crack, or a hidden treasure map you follow. It's not written down somewhere, waiting for someone to figure it out for everyone. For a long time, people believed meaning came from outside us, perhaps from a powerful being, or a grand universe plan already set. They searched everywhere for this single truth, often in ancient books, or special messages. But as minds grew and questions changed, a different idea started. This new idea suggests that instead of finding meaning like a pre-written story, we actually get to write our own. Think about a video game where you build your own world, like Minecraft. The game doesn't tell you its meaning. You decide what's important. You choose what to build, what adventures to create. Your choices give that world its purpose and meaning, because you are the one creating it. And that's kind of how life works. In this view, the meaning of your life isn't a riddle someone else solved long ago. It's not a hidden message whispered in old texts, or a complicated formula only smart scientists can figure out. Instead, it's found in what you pour your heart into. It's the kindness you show. It's the curiosity that drives you to learn and ask big questions. It's the small moments of joy you create and share with others, and the goals you set for yourself. This means the power is truly with you. It's in your hands, in your thoughts, in your everyday actions. There's no single, secret code for everyone. There's just the quiet, powerful truth that your life gains meaning from what you choose to value, from the connections you make, and from the path you decide to walk. It's a journey of making your own meaning, not just finding one that's already there. And that, I think, is a truly amazing and wonderfully freeing thought. That being kind for a reward isn't truly kind. Have you ever stopped to truly think about kindness? What makes an act truly kind? Is it just the action itself, or does the reason behind it, the quiet whisper in our heart, matter more? Philosophers have explored this for thousands of years. They asked if an act is truly kind if you're only doing it to get something back. Imagine you hold open a door for someone. That's a good thing, right? But what if you only did it because your teacher was nearby, hoping they'd notice? Or maybe you just wanted a big thank you and some praise. Ancient Greek philosophers wrestled with this. They believed true goodness had to come from a pure place inside. It wasn't about show. It was about sincere intention. It had to spring from wanting to do good, not from wanting a prize or even just a good feeling. Think about it. Your dog might sit for a treat. That's a trick for a reward. But is that the same as when your dog quietly snuggles its head on your lap, just because it loves you? That genuine snuggle, given freely, feels different. It feels more real. Helping a friend with homework because we truly want them to understand is different from helping just for extra credit. The first comes from pure empathy. The second, while helpful, has a subtle string attached, changing its essence. So this idea isn't saying wanting thanks is bad, or rewards are wrong. Not at all. It's an invitation to look inside, to find the quiet reason why we choose kindness. The deepest kindness often blooms in secret, given without thought of what we might gain. It's simply given, because the heart feels a soft pull to share its light. And that, maybe, is where true kindness truly lives. That shadows can teach you about light. Have you ever really looked at a shadow, not just seen it, but truly thought about what it is? It's easy to think of a shadow as just nothing, a dark shape. But here's the thing, a shadow isn't nothing. It's an absence. It's a space where light isn't. And that absence, that dark emptiness, can teach us a lot about the light itself. The sharper a shadow is, the brighter and more focused the light has to be. A fuzzy shadow means the light is scattered or far away. So, a shadow actually defines the light, right? It shows us the light's power and direction. Long, long ago, a famous thinker named Plato told a story about people stuck in a cave. They only saw shadows flickering on a wall, believing those shadows were everything real. But the shadows were just reflections of real objects outside, cast by a fire behind them. When one person finally left the cave and saw the actual objects and the actual sun, he realized what he thought was true was only a faint copy. This story tells us that understanding shadows, things that aren't quite complete, can push us to find the real light, the real truth. It makes you wonder what shadows we might be looking at. It's a bit like understanding sadness. Nobody likes feeling sad, of course, but those moments of feeling down, those emotional shadows, they help us truly understand happiness. If you never felt a cloudy day, how could you truly appreciate a sunny one? The shadow of a bad mood helps you recognize the warmth and brightness of a good one. It helps you feel things deeper. So, next time you see a shadow stretching across the ground, don't just walk past it. Pause. Consider what it's telling you about the light that made it. Maybe it's reminding you that some deep lessons aren't found in what's brightly obvious, but in what seems missing. Sometimes, to truly see the light, you have to look at the shadows first. It's a quiet way of understanding the world. That may be you're a brain in a jar. Have you ever wondered if everything you see and hear, all your feelings, isn't quite real? It's a wild thought, but some philosophers really explore it. They ask, what if your brain isn't in your head right now? What if it's sitting in a jar somewhere, hooked up to a super smart computer? This computer would be so powerful, it could create your whole world. It would send signals to your brain. These signals make you think you're seeing friends, hearing music, or tasting your favorite snack. Every experience, every memory could be just electrical signals from this machine. You would feel completely normal, never knowing the difference. It sounds like science fiction, right? This idea isn't new. Centuries ago, René Descartes wondered similar things. He thought about how real dreams can feel. We can't always tell them from waking life. He questioned everything, asking if an evil demon could trick his senses. The brain in a jar idea is a modern version. How do we truly know what's real? Here's an easier way to think about it. Imagine a really real virtual reality game. The graphics are amazing. The sound's clear. For a moment, you forget you're wearing a headset. You duck when a monster shows up. Your body stays still, but your mind feels in another world. Now, imagine that game is perfect, and you never take the headset off. That's kind of the feeling that it feels strange to think about. But here's the thing. Even if you were a brain in a jar, the joy you feel, the sadness, the connection with people you care about, those feelings are real to you. Your experiences, even from a machine, still shape who you are. So maybe the question isn't just about what's physically real. It's about what feels real and meaningful in your mind. It makes you think about how special our inner world is. That the end doesn't always justify the means. Have you ever wanted something so much, to win that game, ace that test, or just avoid trouble? This idea makes us ask a big question about how we get what we want. It asks if reaching a great goal, that's the end, makes it okay to use any method, even a harmful one. Those are the means. Many wise people, for a long time, have felt deep down that the answer is often no. Some paths, no matter how shiny the prize, just aren't right. Centuries ago, some thinkers explored if a leader, needing to keep a kingdom safe, might have to lie or be tough sometimes. The thought was, if the result was a strong, stable country, perhaps harsh actions were necessary. But others quickly wondered, what about the cost to people's spirits? They believed that hurting others, breaking trust, or acting unfairly, even for a good outcome, damages something precious. The how shapes us, and it shapes our world. Think about a school project. Your group is desperate to win. One person quietly copies parts from an old project. Another pushes everyone else around, taking all the credit for others' hard work. Yes, your team might win first prize. That's the end. But was the way you got there, the lying, the unfairness, the unkindness, truly worth it? Most of us would feel a quiet wrongness inside, wouldn't we? The victory might feel hollow, because it's about more than just the trophy. It's about the kind of person we become while chasing our dreams. Our choices echo, shaping not only the immediate result, but also the honesty and kindness within our lives. Sometimes, the path we choose leaves hidden scars, even if the destination gleams brightly. Maybe, the way we walk that path truly matters more than the finish line itself, inviting us to live with a deeper kind of integrity. That your future is already written down somewhere. Have you ever stopped and wondered if your path, every step you take, is already decided? It's a big thought, right? Like maybe there's a secret script, a hidden blueprint for your whole life. This powerful idea that everything that happens from big events to small choices is already set is something people have deeply discussed for a very long time. Ancient thinkers, way back in old Greece, wrestled with this mystery. They called it fate or destiny. They'd look at the stars and wonder if the future was like a thick book already written. If it's all pre-written, it makes you think, do your decisions really matter? Are you truly picking what to wear? Or was that choice always going to happen? It's a question that makes your mind spin. Here's an example. Imagine you throw a baseball across a field. Once it leaves your hand, its path is completely set. Gravity pulls it down, the air pushes, and the force you use these combine to decide exactly where it lands. The ball doesn't choose to curve left or fly higher, it just follows physics. So, what if our lives are a bit like that baseball? What if our genes, past experiences, and the world around us are all forces that subtly decide our every move and thought? This can feel a little strange, even unsettling. If everything is already decided, does that take away the thrill of hoping, or the deep satisfaction of working hard for a goal? But here's the thing, even if there's a grand plan, the experience of living it, the wonder of discovery, the feelings you have, those are incredibly real and personal. They are utterly yours. It's a profound mystery that makes you pause and consider life's beautiful, sometimes baffling, journey. It encourages you to cherish the present moment, no matter what tomorrow's pre-written page might hold. That the truth isn't always easy or nice. Have you ever wished that everything true was also comforting? That the real answers to life's big questions would always feel warm and gentle, like a soft blanket wrapped around you? Here's the thing. Sometimes the truth isn't like that at all. It can be sharp, it can be difficult, and often, it's not very nice. Truth doesn't care about our feelings. It simply is. For thousands of years, philosophers have wrestled with this idea. They understood that just because a truth makes us uncomfortable, doesn't make it any less real. Think about an ancient Greek thinker named Socrates. He spent his life asking tough questions and searching for truth, no matter where it led. And sometimes, the truths he uncovered made powerful people very angry. His commitment to truth was so strong that he was willing to face death, rather than pretend something false was true. He believed that truly living meant facing reality, even if that reality was harsh or dangerous, because a comfortable lie would never lead to true wisdom. It's a lot like when a friend who really cares about you has to tell you something you don't want to hear. Maybe you're doing something that isn't good for you, a small habit that's causing problems. And this friend, because they truly love you, has to tell you about it. It hurts to hear. You might even feel embarrassed or defensive. But that honest feedback, that difficult truth, is actually a gift. It helps you see something you couldn't see before, something vital for your well-being. It lets you grow. It wasn't nice in the moment, but it was incredibly important because it showed you the path to change. So, understanding that truth isn't always easy or nice is a deep lesson. It asks us to be brave, to face what's real, even when it stings a little or challenges our comfortable views. It shows us that true understanding often comes hand in hand with courage, urging us to look deeper, not just for what feels good, but for what is. And that kind of bravery helps us build a stronger, more honest world, one difficult truth at a time. It also helps us grow into more thoughtful, resilient people, ready for whatever reality brings. That what you believe shapes what you see. Have you ever stopped to wonder how two people can look at the exact same moment, the same picture, or the same person, yet walk away with completely different stories in their heads? It's not just a trick of light, or who was standing closer. Here's the thing. What we truly believe in our hearts and minds has a surprising power over what our eyes actually pick up. Our brains aren't just recording devices. They're more like editors, always sifting through information around us, and the beliefs we hold act like special filters on our vision. For centuries, philosophers have talked about this idea. They knew that we don't just see the world as it is. Instead, we see the world as we are, or as we expect it to be. It's like our minds carry a blueprint, and everything we see gets measured against that plan. Think about a time you tried a new food. If someone told you beforehand, "Oh, that's going to be terrible," you might find yourself noticing every tiny thing you don't like. You might even ignore the good parts. But if you were told, "This is amazing, you'll love it," you'd probably focus on the delicious flavors and pleasing texture. The food itself didn't change, but your belief about it totally shifted what you experienced. Your expectation became a lens. This makes you pause, doesn't it? It means our world isn't just out there, waiting to be seen. It's also partly built right inside us, piece by piece, by what we hold dear. It's a gentle call to notice what filters we might be wearing, and it invites us to wonder if, by changing a belief, we could suddenly see something entirely new, something beautiful we've always missed. This can help you see the world, and other people, with a softer, more open heart. That a group can be smarter than one person, or dumber. Have you ever stopped to wonder, truly wonder, about the minds around you? Think about it. When people come together, what happens to their ideas? Do they mix into something brilliant, far better than any single person could imagine? Or sometimes, do they twist and stumble, making choices no one would ever make alone? This isn't a new thought. Long ago, even ancient Greek philosophers like Aristotle pondered this. They saw that a group of ordinary citizens, when allowed to speak freely and listen to each other, could sometimes make wiser decisions for their city than even the wisest ruler acting alone. It's like many small pieces of truth, when laid out together, suddenly form a bigger, clearer picture. The wisdom of the crowd, they called it. Each person brings a tiny bit of knowledge, a different angle, and when these are combined, the overall answer becomes incredibly precise. Imagine a huge jar filled with jelly beans. If you ask 100 different students to guess the number inside, most individual guesses will be way off. Some too high, some too low. But if you take all those guesses and average them out, that single average number is often shockingly close to the real count. It's like magic, but it's just the power of many minds working, even without realizing it. But here's the thing, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes, groups can fall into a trap. We call it groupthink. It's when everyone just agrees to go along with the first idea, or the loudest person's idea, even if it feels wrong deep down. No one wants to rock the boat, so bad ideas get accepted, and smart individual thoughts get silenced. Suddenly, a group of bright people can make a really foolish choice. So this idea makes you think about how delicate and powerful human connection can be. It's a reminder that when we gather, we carry a great responsibility. Our collective voice can build something incredible, something smarter and kinder than any one of us alone. Or, if we're not careful, if we don't truly listen and speak our own truths, that same group can become lost, confused, and make choices that none of us would truly believe in our hearts. It's a deep truth about us, about people, and the path we choose together. That sometimes, doing the opposite is the right thing. Have you ever felt like the most obvious answer isn't always the best one? Like everyone is running one way, but something deep inside you wonders if the other direction holds a hidden truth. Sometimes, in life, our first instinct, or what seems like the clearest path, actually leads us further from what we truly need. It's in those moments that doing the opposite, bravely turning away from the expected, can be the most profound choice. This idea isn't new. Philosophers throughout history, those who spent their lives thinking deeply, often challenged common sense. They asked us to look beyond the surface, to question what everyone agreed on. They suggested that true wisdom isn't always about following the crowd, but sometimes about daring to be still, or to step back, or even to move in a totally different way. It's like a quiet whisper telling you to pause when the world screams to rush. Think about a time you really wanted to fall asleep, but your mind just wouldn't quiet down. The harder you tried to force your eyes shut, to make your brain stop thinking, the more awake you felt. It's a frustrating loop, right? But here's the thing. Sometimes, if you simply stop trying so hard, if you just allow your thoughts to float by without clinging to them, if you give up the fight for sleep, then sleep often comes naturally. The opposite of what you were doing, letting go instead of forcing, becomes the key. This isn't about being difficult or doing things backwards just for the sake of it. It's about listening to a different kind of wisdom, a quiet knowing that understands true strength isn't always about pushing forward. Sometimes, it's about having the courage to release, to be still, or to gently turn and walk a less expected path. It reminds us that often, the most important insights bloom in the places we least expected to look. That maybe there are no facts, just interpretations. What if the facts we hold on to so tightly aren't always as solid as they seem? We grow up believing there are things that are simply true. The sky is blue, gravity pulls us down. But what if even these truths, or especially more complex ideas, are actually just interpretations? It's a strange thought, right? That what feels like a clear truth to one person might look totally different to another. It's not about anyone being wrong, but about how our own mind shapes what we see, what we hear, what we feel. For centuries, some of the smartest people have wrestled with this. They wondered if we ever truly see the world exactly as it is, or if we always see it through our own unique lens. Think about it like wearing different colored glasses. Everyone sees the same world, but their glasses make it look a little different, and none of them are wrong for seeing it their way. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine two friends watch the same soccer game. One friend supports the home team with all their heart. The other friend supports the visiting team. When a referee makes a call, like a foul, one friend might see it as a clear, terrible mistake by the ref. The other friend might see it as a perfectly fair play, even a brilliant decision. It's the same moment, the same event, but their feelings, their loyalties, their entire viewpoint changes what they believe to be the fact of what happened. No one is lying. They just genuinely perceive it differently. Their truth is shaped by their own experience. So, maybe there's beauty in this idea. It means the world isn't a single, fixed picture, but a canvas painted with countless perspectives. It asks us to slow down, to listen, to understand that someone else's fact might not be your fact, and that's okay. It invites us to be kinder, knowing that everyone is building their understanding from their own unique corner of the world. It reminds us to be curious, always, about what truths others hold, and why. Because sometimes, just listening to another person's interpretation can make our own world feel bigger, richer, and more connected. That knowing what's not important helps you focus. Have you ever felt lost in a sea of tasks, or like your mind is buzzing with too many things at once? It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? Like trying to see a single star on a cloudy night. Sometimes, to find what truly matters, we first need to understand what doesn't. This isn't about ignoring things. It's about making a quiet, clear space inside yourself. Imagine your attention as a bright spotlight. If that spotlight tries to shine on everything at once, every small worry, every fleeting distraction, every little thought, its light becomes weak, spread too thin. But what if you could point it precisely? What if you could simply say, "This, right now, is not for my spotlight"? Ancient thinkers, like the Roman philosopher Seneca, understood this deeply. He talked about how much of our suffering comes from worrying about things we can't control. He taught that wisdom often means letting go of what doesn't serve us, releasing the need to care about every little opinion or passing trend. It's a powerful idea. By deciding what not to carry, you make so much more room for what genuinely brings meaning and peace. Think about your phone. You probably have a lot of apps, right? Some are important for school or talking to friends, but then there are apps you rarely use, or ones that just send endless notifications, buzzing for your attention. What happens when you go through and delete those unused, noisy apps? Suddenly, your phone feels lighter, faster. You can find what you need more easily. It's the same with our minds. Deleting the mental clutter, the worries about things you can't change, the opinions of people who don't matter, the distractions that steal your precious focus. It creates that space, and that's why it matters so much. When you stop chasing every shiny object, every small drama, every tiny fear, your mind settles. You start to see the stars more clearly. You find a quiet strength. It's not about being cold or uncaring, but about being brave enough to protect your inner peace, to choose where your valuable energy truly goes. It's about building a calm, clear pathway to what truly brightens your life. That a truly happy person isn't always smiling. Have you ever thought about what real happiness looks like? We often imagine someone laughing bright-eyed, with a wide smile. And yes, sometimes happiness bursts out that way, full of joy. But here's the thing, sometimes, the deepest kind of happiness, the kind that settles in your heart, doesn't always show itself with a smile. It can be much quieter. Imagine someone feeling a deep sense of peace. Maybe they're watching the rainfall, or listening to music, or just sitting quietly with a pet. Their face might be calm, eyes thoughtful, even a little serious. They might not be smiling, but inside, there's a warmth, a deep contentment. This isn't sadness, it's a quiet knowing that things are okay, or that they are exactly where they need to be. Many old philosophers, thinkers from long ago, understood this. People like the Stoics in ancient Greece believed true happiness wasn't about constant excitement. Instead, it was about inner calm and finding meaning. They thought a person could be deeply content without showing it off. It was about what was happening inside. A quiet strength. Think about when you're really focused on something you love, maybe building a model, drawing, or solving a tough problem. You might have a serious expression, maybe even a slight frown of concentration. You're not smiling, but you're absorbed, feeling deep satisfaction from the challenge. That quiet focus is a kind of happiness, too. It's the feeling of being completely present and engaged. So, true happiness isn't always a show for others. It can be a quiet, strong feeling that lives within you, a soft glow that doesn't need a loud smile to prove it's there. It reminds us that sometimes, the most profound emotions are also the most serene, hidden from the surface, but deeply felt in the heart. That the best way to live is to question how to live. Have you ever stopped to wonder if there's a best way to live your life? Most of us just go through life, doing what feels normal or what's expected. But here's the thing, what if the real secret to living well isn't about having all the answers, but about always asking the questions? This idea says the deepest, most meaningful life comes from truly thinking about how you're living. It's not about finding one perfect path and sticking to it forever. Instead, it's about a constant, gentle curiosity. You pause. You ask, why do I do this? Is this truly what I believe? Is there a better way for me? Long, long ago, in ancient Greece, a wise thinker named Socrates spoke of this. He believed an unexamined life, one you never truly questioned, wasn't really worth living. And that's why it matters. He wasn't saying you had to be a philosophy expert. He meant looking inside yourself, reflecting on choices, makes your life richer and more real. Think about it, like exploring a new place you've never seen before. Maybe a vast forest, or a new city district. You don't just run forward without a thought. You stop, you observe, you wonder, which path looks interesting? Where does that street lead? What will I find if I go this way instead of that way? You consider your options. You make choices based on your thoughts, not just on instinct. Living your life this way is similar. It's not about being confused, but truly engaged with your own journey. This can help you make choices that truly fit who you are. It means your life becomes something you actively shape, not just something that simply happens. And that's a powerful, beautiful thing to believe. That maybe we're all just ideas in a bigger mind. Have you ever wondered if the world you see is truly real? Not in a scary way, but as a deep thought. Imagine everything around you, your friends, your home. The sky might be less solid than it seems. What if it's all more like a dream? This isn't a new thought. For centuries, people wondered, our whole universe, everything we feel, could be just a thought in a giant, universal consciousness. It's not a brain like ours. It's a mind so vast it holds existence. Think of a character in a book. To them, their world is real. But to the author, the character is just an idea, words on a page. This concept can feel strange. Yet, if you let it sit, it can feel comforting. When dreaming, everything feels real. Yes, you run, talk, feel deep emotions. Then you wake up. You realize it was all just in your mind. This bigger mind idea is similar. An Irish philosopher, George Berkeley, had this idea. He said things exist only if perceived. Imagine your favorite video game. The characters believe their world is real, with goals. But to you, the player, they are just ideas, made from code on your screen. Their reality lives inside the computer, or the creator's mind. This idea connects everything. If we are all ideas in this bigger mind, then we are all part of the same grand thought. Every laugh, every tear, every moment of wonder, it's all part of this huge, connected consciousness. It means our lives are not random, but part of something profound. And perhaps, thinking this way helps us feel less alone. It suggests a deep, beautiful pattern to everything. We are each a precious thread in that cosmic tapestry. It makes you look at the stars, or a friend's smile, and feel a quiet, secret meaning in everything. That being confused means you're almost understanding. Have you ever felt completely lost trying to figure something out? Like your brain just hit a wall? What if that messy feeling, that confusion, isn't a sign you're failing, but a signal you're getting closer? Here's the thing. Philosophers have thought about this for a long time. They say confusion isn't a sign you're dumb or stuck. It's a sign your brain is working hard. It means your mind is stretching, trying to connect new ideas, growing to hold something bigger than it already knows. Think about Socrates, an ancient Greek thinker. He was famous for asking questions that made people realize they didn't truly understand things they thought they knew. This made them feel confused, but he believed this feeling was so important. It cleared out wrong ideas and made space for true learning. He showed that admitting I don't know is the first real step to knowing. Here's an example. Imagine you're learning a new dance move. Your body feels tangled, awkward, wrong at first. You keep trying, making mistakes. That struggle, that fumbling, is your body learning new pathways. Suddenly, it clicks. Or when you're doing a tough puzzle, you stare at it, confused, but slowly, a piece fits, then another. That confusion was just before the picture formed. So, the next time you feel that tangled feeling of confusion, don't quit. Don't think it means you're not smart. Instead, see it as a helpful sign. It means you're on the edge of understanding. Your mind is trying to solve a puzzle, building new connections. It's a powerful moment, showing you're about to grasp something new. Embrace that messy middle. It means you're so close that a perfect answer might not exist. Have you ever felt like you had to find the one true answer to something? Like there was a single, perfect solution waiting, if only you looked hard enough? Here's the thing. Sometimes, for big, deep questions, that perfect answer just might not be out there. Not because we're not smart enough, but because the question itself is bigger than one simple solution. A philosopher learns to be okay with that. They understand that some puzzles aren't meant to be solved once and for all. It's more about exploring the possibilities, feeling the weight of the different ideas. Think about thinkers like Socrates, way back in ancient Greece. He was famous for saying he knew one thing, that he knew nothing. Sounds strange, right? But what he meant was, true wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing how much you don't know, and staying curious. It's about asking deeper questions, even if they lead to more questions, not just one neat answer. And that's why it matters. Imagine trying to decide what the perfect song is. Is it the catchiest pop hit, a powerful rock anthem, a calming classical piece? You might love one, your friend might love another. There's no single perfect song that everyone agrees on. Or what about the best way to live your life? Is it about adventure, or quiet peace, or helping others? All these paths have beauty. There isn't a single instruction manual for happiness that works for everyone. So accepting that a perfect answer might not exist isn't giving up. It's actually a kind of freedom. It means you can keep asking, keep wondering, keep growing. It teaches you to appreciate the journey of thought, not just the destination. It reminds us that sometimes, the most important thing isn't finding the answer, but understanding why the question matters so much, and what it means to us. And that can help you feel really connected to the world around you. That the biggest problems start with simple words. Have you ever paused to truly think about a single word? Not a big, fancy one, but something small, like fair or respect. It seems so tiny, right? Just a sound, a few letters. But here's the thing. These simple words hold immense power. They are like tiny seeds that grow into huge trees. And sometimes, those trees bear bitter fruit if we're not careful. Long ago, ancient Greek thinkers knew this. Guys like Socrates didn't write many books. Instead, he just walked around asking people to define basic words. What is justice? He'd ask, what is truth? Most people thought they knew. But when he pushed, they realized their definitions were all different. He wasn't trying to be clever. He showed how simple misunderstandings could break apart society. Think about a fight you've had with a friend. Often, it begins because of a simple word. Maybe one person says, "You always do that." And what they really mean is, "You do that often, and it bothers me." But the person hearing it understands. "I think you're a terrible person who constantly messes up." That simple word always built a wall between them. Or, imagine in science class, if one student thinks evidence means I saw it once, and another thinks it means data from many tests, they won't agree on an experiment. So, here's what I found. Maybe we should slow down with our words. Let's think about what we say, and truly listen to what others mean. If we try harder to be clear and understand, we might avoid big problems. It's a quiet challenge, asking us to be more present, to truly see and be seen, one careful word at a time. It's about building understanding, not just talking louder. That sometimes, the strongest person gives in. What does it truly mean to be strong? We often think strength means never giving up, always pushing through, no matter what. But here's a thought. Sometimes, the strongest person is the one who chooses to give in. This isn't about weakness or quitting when things get hard. It's about a deeper understanding, a quiet wisdom that knows when to let go. Think about it like this. Some of the oldest philosophies, like those from ancient Greece or China, talked about accepting what you can't change. It's a bit like a wise leader who knows when a battle can't be won, and chooses to retreat instead of sacrificing everything. That choice isn't defeat. It's a powerful strategy, a way to save energy and hope for another day. It takes immense courage to step back, to admit limits, and to prioritize peace over an unwinnable struggle. Imagine a giant old oak tree during a storm. This tree has a strong trunk and deep roots. It's incredibly powerful. But when a hurricane force wind hits it, does the tree stay perfectly stiff and rigid? No, it bends. It sways with the wind, allowing some of its branches to give way a little. If it didn't bend, if it tried to resist every single gust with all its might, it would snap in half. The act of yielding, of giving in to the forces it can't control, is what lets that strong tree stand for hundreds of years. So, maybe true strength isn't just about how much you can endure, but also about knowing when to release your grip. It's about understanding yourself and the world around you well enough to know when fighting is no longer helpful. Sometimes, the bravest, most resilient thing you can do is to calmly step aside, to accept, or to simply let go. And that can lead to a different, deeper kind of peace. That everything you see is just a copy of something perfect. Have you ever looked at something beautiful, like a deep blue sky or a strong old tree, and felt like it was almost too perfect to be real? Or maybe, just for a moment, you've wondered if there's more to the world than what your eyes can truly see. This is an idea some very old thinkers pondered, making us feel a deep connection to something beyond our everyday lives. Here's the thing. Imagine you draw a triangle. It might be a good triangle, but if you look super close, the lines aren't perfectly straight. The angles might be a tiny bit off. It's a good try, but it's not the perfect triangle. But you know what a perfect triangle is, right? You hold that idea in your mind, even if you've never seen a truly perfect one in real life. That perfect idea is what we're talking about. An ancient Greek philosopher named Plato thought about this a lot. He believed that everything we see and touch in our world, every tree, every chair, every act of courage, is just a kind of shadow or a copy of something much more real and perfect. He called these perfect versions forms or ideas. They exist somewhere outside our normal world, like blueprints for everything. So, the chair you're sitting on isn't the perfect chairness itself. It's just trying its best to be like the ideal, perfect chair form. And that's why it matters. Think about music. You hear a song, a performance of it. It's beautiful. It makes you feel something. But what about the pure melody, the perfect rhythm that the composer imagined? The performance is a copy of that perfect musical idea. It's a way for that unseen perfection to touch our ears and hearts. This thought can make the world around us feel both fragile and deeply meaningful, like we're always looking through a veil at something more profound. It makes you wonder if our souls carry whispers of these perfect things, guiding us, pulling us toward a truth we can only glimpse. That you need limits to be truly creative. We often think that to be truly creative, you need total freedom. No rules, no boundaries, just endless possibilities. But here's the thing. Sometimes, having too much freedom can actually stop us. Imagine standing in front of a giant blank canvas. You can paint anything. For some, that's exciting. But for many, it's terrifying. Where do you even begin? This is the weird truth. When everything is possible, it's hard to pick one path. It's like having every color, but not knowing which to use. Don't think about ancient poets. They wrote songs. A sonnet has a very strict structure, 14 lines, a specific rhythm, and a rhyme scheme. Sounds really limiting, right? But these rules pushed them. They had to find incredibly clever ways to say what they meant within those boundaries. The limits didn't stop them. They made them stretch their minds. Think of it this way. Imagine you're building something with LED. If you had every Lego brick, it might feel overwhelming. But if someone gives you a small box of specific bricks and says, build the best car you can with just these, suddenly your mind focuses. You start looking at those few bricks differently. You see new connections, new ways to put them together. The limit of those bricks actually helps you see new possibilities you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. So, maybe true creativity isn't about having no limits at all. Maybe it's about seeing the challenge in the limits we do have. It's about finding our own kind of beauty and strength within a frame, not outside of it. And that's why it matters. Sometimes, the rules are what truly set our imagination free. That the world isn't getting better or worse, just different. Have you ever felt like the world is always changing, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse? It's easy to look back at the past and think, things were simpler then, or to look at the future and hope everything will be amazing. But here's the thing some philosophers believe. Maybe the world isn't actually on a ladder, climbing up or falling down. Maybe it's just ... Shifting thinkers long ago, even ancient Greek ones, saw the world in cycles. Like seasons, summer isn't better than winter, right? It's just different. Both have beauty, challenges, and their own kind of magic. This idea means letting go of the need to judge every change as good or bad. Instead, we just see it for what it is, a movement. Consider how you listen to music. Your grandparents might think the music you like today isn't as good as theirs, and maybe you think their music is a bit slow, but neither is truly better or worse. It's just different styles, different sounds for different times. Or think about technology. Having a smartphone changes how we learn, how we talk to friends. It might feel like an improvement in some ways. We can connect instantly, but it also brings new challenges, like too much screen time or It's not simply better than a time without phones. It's a whole new landscape. So, this idea helps us see things with clearer eyes. It helps us accept change without always needing to label it. It teaches us to observe, to understand, and to find our place in a world that is always, gently, evolving. It means finding peace in the flow, knowing that every shift brings new patterns, new ways of being, without one being superior to another. It's a way of looking at life that is calm, curious, and deeply accepting. That listening is a superpower. Have you ever really thought about what it means to hear something? Not just the sounds that hit your ears, but what happens when you truly pay attention. It's like this. Our ears catch noises all day long. The chatter, the music, the bus rumbling. But listening, that's different. Listening is opening your mind to what those sounds carry. It's hearing a friend's words, and also feeling the emotions behind them. It's understanding that their silence can say more than 1,000 sentences. Think about the old philosophers, like Socrates. He asked many questions, but to ask good questions, you first have to listen. He listened to people's ideas, even confusing ones, to understand them. Many wise people throughout history knew this. They understood wisdom isn't just about speaking smart things. It's often about truly hearing what others say. They believed listening was a path to deeper truth. Here's the thing. Imagine your favorite song. You might just hear the beat, but if you really listen, you pick up the lyrics, the feeling in the singer's voice, the way instruments play together. You start to feel the song's story. Or think about a friend having a tough day. You could just hear their words, or you could listen closely to the quiet sigh, the slight tremor in their voice. That deep listening shows you care. It helps you understand what they really need. It's like discovering hidden details in something you thought you knew. So, maybe listening isn't just about sound at all. It's about being present. It's about connecting with another person, or with the world around you, in a way that's deep. It's a quiet strength, a way to build understanding, and that's why it matters. It allows us to see beyond the surface, to truly connect. That maybe good and bad aren't fixed things. Have you ever stopped to wonder if good and bad are always the same, no matter what? It's a big thought, right? Most of us grow up believing certain things are definitely good, and others are definitely bad. Like, helping a friend is good, and hurting someone is bad, and that makes sense. But here's the thing. Philosophers, people who think deeply about life, have looked at this and asked if it's really that simple. Philosophers wondered if good and bad could actually shift. What if these ideas aren't solid rocks, but more like shadows changing with the light? For thousands of years, people like ancient Greek thinkers considered how what seems good in one situation might not be good in another. They thought that what's bad for one person might sometimes protect another. This isn't about saying nothing matters, it's about recognizing how truly complex life is. Think about medicine. A plant chemical might be a deadly poison. Sounds bad, right? But what if scientists use a tiny part of that chemical, in a special way, to make a life-saving medicine? Suddenly, something bad becomes good when used differently. Or think about honesty. Usually good, right? But if telling a harsh truth would deeply hurt someone for no real purpose, maybe that truth isn't the best path. It doesn't make the truth bad, but it makes us question simple labels. So, maybe the world isn't always black and white. Maybe good and bad are more like colors on a palette, blending and changing depending on the full picture. This can help you understand others better, and yourself too. It means we have to really think, and feel, and understand the whole story before deciding. It asks us to look closely, with our hearts and minds open, to see the shades of gray in everything, and that's why it matters. That true ownership means taking care of something. Have you ever thought about what it truly means to own something? Is it just holding the title, having the receipt, or putting your name on it? Or is there something deeper, a quiet promise hidden in that word? For hundreds of years, philosophers have explored this idea. Many believed true ownership isn't just about having something. It's about taking care of it. It's a big responsibility, an unspoken agreement you make with what you claim is yours. Imagine someone living long ago, before modern laws. If they owned a patch of forest, it wasn't just because they could point to it. It was because they protected it, cleared paths, and maybe even planted new trees. They were its guardian. The philosopher John Locke said your labor, your effort put into something, makes it truly yours. When you put your energy into something, you connect with it. You don't just possess it, you become part of its story, and it becomes part of yours. Think about a plant you've grown from a tiny seed. You owned the seed, but did you truly own the plant? No. To truly own it, you watered it, made sure it got sun, maybe even talked to it. When it grew tall and strong, those leaves, that stem, they weren't just yours because you bought the seed. They were yours because you put in the time, the patience, the gentle care. You watched it change, you helped it flourish, and that feeling, seeing something thrive because of your hands, that's what true ownership feels like. It's a unique pride and connection. So maybe true ownership isn't about control or power over something. Maybe it's about gentle dedication, a quiet act of tending. It's about safeguarding, nurturing, and respecting what you have. When you take care of your favorite book, your school project, a friendship, or even your own hopes and dreams, you're not just holding on to them, you're building a deeper bond. You're becoming a steward, a protector. And in that act of caring, you find a deeper meaning, a sense of belonging that goes far beyond saying, "This is mine." That you can only be truly free if you understand yourself. What does it truly mean to be free? We often think freedom is just doing whatever we want, right? But here's the thing. What if you don't even know why you want those things? Imagine you're like a ship. If the captain doesn't know the ship, its strengths, its weaknesses, or even where they truly want to go, are they really free? Or are they just drifting, tossed by every wave and current? Long ago, wise people like the Greek philosopher Socrates said something important: know thyself. It wasn't just a catchy phrase. It was an idea that true power, true freedom, comes from understanding who you are deep down. Think about choosing a new hobby. Maybe all your friends are doing something, so you try it too. And that's fine. But what if you secretly love drawing, or coding, or playing a different sport? If you don't take time to listen to your own quiet voice, you might spend years following other people's paths. You might feel a little lost, or not quite yourself. Even when you're doing what everyone else is doing, those hidden desires, those fears we don't look at, they can push us around without us even knowing. It's like having strings pulled without seeing the puppet master. But when you start to understand what makes you tick, your values, your strengths, your honest feelings, suddenly, those strings loosen. You start to make choices that truly belong to you. You choose your own direction. It's a quiet kind of freedom, not loud or showy. It's the peace that settles in your heart when you live in a way that feels true to you. It's knowing that you are navigating your own life, not just reacting to everything around you. And that, in itself, is a very special kind of power. That the best way to solve a problem is to redefine it. Have you ever felt completely stuck, like a heavy weight pressing down on you because of a problem. You try everything, but nothing seems to work, and the frustration just grows. Here's a thought some philosophers have shared. What if the real solution isn't to force your way through the problem as it appears, but to look at the problem itself in a whole new way? It's about redefining it. Imagine your problem is a locked door. Instead of trying harder to pick the lock or smash the door down, redefining it might mean asking, is this even the right door? Or why is this door here, and what's behind it? It shifts your focus from the obstacle to the bigger picture, or even to the questions you're asking. This can help you see possibilities where you only saw dead ends before. Ancient thinkers, long ago, understood something powerful about our minds. How we frame things often shapes our reality. If you believe a problem is impossible, it usually feels that way. But if you see it as a challenge, or even as something mislabeled, a new path might appear. It's a quiet shift in your mind, but it holds immense power. Let's say you're struggling with a project at school, and you feel like you're bad at it. That thought can feel crushing, right? That's the problem as you first defined it. But what if you redefined it? What if the problem isn't that you're bad, but that this project doesn't connect to my interests yet, or I haven't found the best way to approach this specific kind of work? Suddenly, it's not a flaw in you. It's a challenge to find a different angle, a new method. This might work for you, making it about strategy, not personal failure. This way of thinking reminds us that sometimes the most profound answers aren't found by working harder, but by changing the question itself. It's a gentle reminder that our perspective is a tool, and we have the power to wield it, bringing a quiet sense of hope when things feel most confusing. That the ordinary world is actually full of magic. Have you ever stopped to really look at something simple, like a raindrop on a leaf, or how a cloud slowly changes shape in the sky? We often walk through life thinking everything around us is just normal. Our homes, schools, the trees outside, our brains label it as ordinary. But here's the thing. What if this ordinary is actually bursting with something truly amazing? Something that feels a lot like magic. Long ago, before people had microscopes or understood physics deeply, the world was full of magic. Lightning, a god's anger, a new life from a tiny seed, a miracle. As science grew, we learned how these wonders happened. We discovered electricity, genetics, and that's good. But sometimes, by knowing the mechanics, we accidentally lose the wonder. We replace magic with just how it works. Think about your own eyes for a moment. Right now, light bounces off these words, enters your eyes, and your brain instantly turns that into meaning. Not just lines and shapes, but an idea. It's like energy becomes a thought. Or think about a song you love. It's just vibrations in the air, but it can make you feel deep joy, sadness, or even courage. How do simple sound waves become such a powerful emotional experience? It feels like an invisible force shaping our inner world. So, maybe the real magic isn't about spells or wands, but how we choose to see. It's remembering that even common things, gravity holding us down, a flower blooming, the complex machine of your own body, are unbelievably intricate and beautiful. When we look a little closer, with open curiosity, the world reveals its astonishing nature. It's not just ordinary, it's extraordinary, hiding in plain sight. This can help us feel more connected, more alive, every single day. That maybe time is just a way for things to happen. Have you ever stopped to wonder what time actually is? It feels like a river, right? Always flowing, pushing us forward, never stopping. We talk about time passing, time running out, time flying by. But here's a thought. What if time isn't a river at all? What if it's not some separate thing, but just our way of understanding that one event happens, and then another, and then another? Think about it. We see a clock tick, and we say a second has passed. But what really happened? The clock's hand moved. The sun moved across the sky. Your breath went in, and then out. Some philosophers have quietly suggested that maybe time isn't a thing that exists on its own. Instead, it's just the unfolding of events, the sequence of changes in the universe. It's how we experience motion, growth, and the way things transformed. Imagine a book. Those little books where each page has a slightly different drawing. When you flip the pages quickly, it looks like a character is moving, running, or jumping, but no time is flowing through the book itself. Each page is just a single moment, a distinct event. The movement we see is just our brain connecting one drawing to the next. In this way, time could be like the story told by the flipbook of the universe. Each page a moment, an event. and that's why it matters. If time is just how things happen, it means every single moment, every breath, every choice is a real event, not just something swallowed by an unstoppable current. It makes our experiences incredibly solid and precious. It makes us pause and truly feel the weight and wonder of each thing that unfolds. That maybe time is just a way for things to happen. Have you ever stopped to wonder what time actually is? It feels like a river, right? Always flowing, pushing us forward, never stopping. We talk about time passing, time running out, time flying by. But here's a thought. What if time isn't a river at all? What if it's not some separate thing, but just our way of understanding that one event happens, and then another, and then another? Think about it. We see a clock tick, and we say a second has passed. But what really happened? The clock's hand moved. The sun moved across the sky. Your breath went in, and then out. Some philosophers have quietly suggested that maybe time isn't a thing that exists on its own. Instead, it's just the unfolding of events, the sequence of changes in the universe. It's how we experience motion, growth, and the way things transformed. Imagine a book. Those little books where each page has a slightly different drawing. When you flip the pages quickly, it looks like a character is moving, running, or jumping, but no time is flowing through the book itself. Each page is just a single moment, a distinct event. The movement we see is just our brain connecting one drawing to the next. In this way, time could be like the story told by the flipbook of the universe. Each page a moment, an event, and that's why it matters. If time is just how things happen, it means every single moment, every breath, every choice is a real event, not just something swallowed by an unstoppable current. It makes our experiences incredibly solid and precious. It makes us pause and truly feel the weight and wonder of each thing that unfolds. That the real battle is always inside your head. Have you ever felt like the biggest challenge wasn't something happening out there, but something quiet, deep down inside you? Maybe a whisper of doubt, a wave of fear, or just that nagging feeling you're not good enough. Here's the thing. Many wise thinkers, especially philosophers, believed that our true battleground isn't the playground, or the classroom, or even the world outside. It's always right here, in our own minds. Think about it this way. People like the ancient Greek philosopher, Socrates, and many who came after him, spent their lives trying to understand the human mind. They noticed that what truly held people back, or pushed them forward, wasn't always a physical obstacle. It was the arguments we have with ourselves. It was the way we talk to ourselves when no one else is listening. That inner voice that either builds us up or tears us down. Let's say you have a big presentation coming up in class. Your hands might sweat and your heart might pound. But the real fight isn't with the audience, or even with the words on your slide. It's with that little voice that says, what if you mess up? Or everyone will laugh. That's the battle. That's where you decide if you'll let fear win, or if you'll find the courage to step forward anyway. So, here's what I found. A philosopher believes that understanding this, that your thoughts and feelings are the real arena, changes everything. It means we have the power to face those inner whispers, to learn from them, and sometimes, to tell them to be quiet. It's not about ignoring your feelings, but about choosing how you respond to them. It's a deep, personal strength you build, not against others, but within yourself, and that's why it matters so much. That true justice means understanding everyone's side. Have you ever wondered what real justice truly feels like? Is it just about following rules or making sure someone gets what they deserve? Here's the thing. For a long time, philosophers, thinkers, and even everyday people have wrestled with this idea. They started to see that true justice isn't just about right and wrong in a simple, black and white way. It's about something much deeper, something that touches the very core of how we treat each other. It's about understanding that every single person involved in a situation has their own story, their own view. They have their own reasons, their own feelings, their own way of seeing what happened. Imagine two friends arguing over a shared toy. One friend might feel totally ignored, like their turn was unfairly stolen. They might feel angry and hurt. The other friend might feel deeply misunderstood, genuinely believing they were just playing in a different, harmless way. If you only listen to one side, you're only getting half the picture, right? You might decide who is right or wrong too quickly, missing the real heart of the problem. Thinkers from way back, like the ancient Greeks, understood this powerful idea. They knew that to really judge fairly, you couldn't just look at the surface of an argument. You had to dig much deeper, seeking out the hidden currents of feeling and perspective. You had to try and step into each person's shoes, even the ones you might naturally disagree with. It's a lot like how a scientist collects all possible data and runs many tests before making a final conclusion, or how a good detective carefully talks to every single witness, no matter how small their part seems. You need to gather all the perspectives, every piece of the puzzle, not just the loudest or most obvious ones. This kind of justice isn't always easy. It asks us to pause, to listen carefully with our whole being, and to hold back our own quick judgments. It means opening our minds and hearts to possibilities we hadn't considered, understanding that our own view is just one part of a bigger truth. But here's what I found. When we truly commit to understanding why someone acted the way they did, or why they see things so differently, something profoundly powerful happens. We don't just find a fairer solution to the problem. We build a bridge of understanding between people, and that's why it matters so much. It's a justice that seeks to heal and connect, rather than simply to punish or divide. That not knowing is okay, and sometimes better. Have you ever felt that quiet pressure, the one that whispers you should know everything? Like if you don't have an answer, you've somehow missed something important. Here's the truth. Sometimes, not knowing isn't a problem. It's actually a beautiful, open space. When we don't know, our minds are truly open. They're ready to breathe, ready for new ideas to land. We haven't shut down possibilities by forcing a quick answer. This space of I don't know is where real curiosity starts to bloom. It's where the greatest adventures of thought begin. Think about someone like Socrates, an old Greek philosopher. He was considered super wise, but he famously said his wisdom came from knowing how much he didn't know. He believed smart people understand their own limits. Saying I don't know isn't a weakness. It's a humble, honest way to look at the world. It shows courage to admit you're still learning. That honesty is a quiet strength, letting us see the huge unknown parts of life. Imagine you're standing by the ocean at night. You can't see what's far away, or deep below the waves. You don't know every creature, every secret hidden there. Yet, that vast mystery doesn't make the ocean less amazing. It makes it more wonderful, right? You feel tiny but connected to something so much bigger. That feeling sparks dreams and questions. It's the beginning of every journey of discovery. There's a deep peace in letting go of the need to always be right, or to always have the final answer. It frees us. When we accept that some questions just don't have immediate answers, we can simply sit with the mystery. We let our thoughts drift, our feelings settle. This isn't about being confused. It's about being present with the world's grand, beautiful unknowns. So, next time you don't know, let that pause be a soft invitation. Let it be a moment of quiet wonder, before the next wave of understanding gently rolls in. That maybe we're all just characters in a story. Have you ever looked at your life and wondered if it feels a bit like a story unfolding, like you have your role, your lines, and challenges you just have to face? Here's the thing. Some people, for a very long time, have thought that maybe our lives aren't totally up to us. They've imagined we might be like characters in a big book, or even actors in a play, where the script was written long before we arrived. This idea isn't new. Ancient Greek thinkers talked about fate, a kind of powerful destiny that had already planned out everyone's journey. No matter what choices people thought they were making, their path was already set. More recently, some thinkers have considered something called determinism. This means every single event, even our thoughts and decisions, is just the unavoidable result of what happened before it. If you knew everything about the past, you could technically predict everything in the future. So, if everything is already decided, are we really making choices, or just playing out a pre-written part? Think about a character in your favorite video game. They run, they jump, they talk, and they make choices in their world. But you, the player, know that a designer created their whole world, their personality, and every possible path they can take. The character feels alive inside the game, facing dangers and making friends. But from outside, it's all part of a bigger plan. Or imagine a character in a book you're reading. Their joys and struggles are real on the page, but their story is already finished, waiting for you to turn the next page. And that's why it matters. If our lives are a story, what kind of story is it? Is it an epic adventure, a quiet drama, or a funny comedy? Maybe knowing this helps us appreciate each moment, understanding it's a vital part of a larger, beautiful narrative. It doesn't mean our feelings aren't deeply real, or our struggles don't matter. It just means we're part of something truly vast and wonderful. playing our unique part in a way that truly counts. That a simple life can be the richest one. Have you ever wondered if having a lot of things truly makes you happy? We often think rich means tons of money or a giant house. But what if true richness isn't about how much you own, but how much you feel? This idea, that a simple life can be the richest, has been around for thousands of years. It's not about being poor. It's about choosing what truly matters and letting go of the rest. Finding freedom in having less. Think about old philosophers, like the ancient Greek Diogenes. He lived with almost nothing, sometimes even in a pot. People thought he was strange, but he felt incredibly free. He didn't worry about stuff or wanting more. His wealth was his freedom and his mind. And a Roman philosopher, Seneca, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." He meant, if you always want more, you'll never feel like you have enough. Here's an example. Imagine your room packed with toys, games, and clothes. It's exciting at first, but then you can't find anything. You feel overwhelmed, and you still scroll online for the next thing. Now, imagine a room with just a few things you truly love and use. It feels calm. You actually enjoy what you have more. You're not always looking for something new. That feeling of peace, that calm space, is a kind of wealth. It's like being out in nature, just listening to the wind, with no distractions. That quiet moment can feel incredibly full, can't it? So, maybe a rich life isn't found in collecting things. It's in collecting moments of peace, genuine connections, and contentment with what you already have. It's about finding deep joy in simple things, and knowing that enough is truly enough. And that can make your life feel incredibly full, in a way money often can't. That thinking about thinking is important. Have you ever stopped and really thought about how you think? It's a strange idea, isn't it? But here's the thing. Philosophers have a special word for it. It's called met. It means looking at your own thoughts, like you're watching a movie of your mind. It's not just what you think, but how you think about it. It sounds a bit complicated, maybe even a little lonely, to sit inside your own head like that. But it's also where true understanding begins, where you start to really know yourself. Think about ancient thinkers, like Socrates. He lived a long, long time ago. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." He didn't mean you had to be perfect. He just meant you should pay attention to your thoughts, question them. He believed this was how you found wisdom, how you lived a truly good life. It wasn't about having all the answers, but about always asking better questions about your own ideas. So, imagine you're studying for a big test, and you realize you keep getting stuck on the same type of math problem. Instead of just trying the problem again and again, you stop. You think, why am I getting this wrong? Is it the formula? Am I rushing? Do I just not understand the concept? That moment, when you think about how you're learning, not just what you're learning, and that's what helps you learn better. It's a quiet power, this ability to observe your own mind. It means you're not just swept along by every idea or feeling. You can choose to pause. You can choose to understand. And that's why it matters, because knowing how you think helps you truly know yourself and helps you make sense of the world around you. It's a gentle journey inward, leading to a stronger journey outward. That what you ignore is just as important as what you focus on. Have you ever stopped to think about all the things you don't notice in a day? The sounds you filter out, the faces in a crowd you barely see, the details of your own backyard you walk past every morning. It's easy to believe that only what we pay attention to truly matters. But here's the thing, what we choose to ignore, or what our minds automatically push aside, shapes our understanding of the world just as deeply. Long ago, thinkers understood this quiet truth. They knew that sometimes silence speaks louder than words, that what isn't said can tell a powerful story. It's like a sculptor taking away clay to reveal the shape within. What's removed, what's left out, is essential to the final form. In life, we are constantly sculpting our reality by what we leave out of our focus. Imagine you're walking through the school hallway, completely absorbed in thoughts about a tough test you just failed. Your mind is buzzing with that one specific worry. Because you're so focused, you might walk right past a friend who's smiling and waving, or miss a notice about a fun new club starting after school. All those positive, unexpected things are there, right next to you. But they become invisible because your attention is fixed elsewhere. That ignored information, like your friend's cheerful greeting or the club announcement, could have completely changed the rest of your day. And that's why it matters. Our attention is like a powerful spotlight. It brightens one small area, but it casts everything else into shadow. We need those shadows sometimes to keep from feeling overwhelmed by too much information. But it's a profound thought to consider what amazing, important, or beautiful things might be waiting in those dim parts we've chosen to overlook. What important stories remain untold because we didn't listen? What quiet truths stay hidden because we didn't even think to look? Reflecting on what we ignore can open up entirely new ways of seeing the world, reminding us that our reality is far richer than just what we decide to shine our light on. That maybe there's no such thing as common sense. We often say something is common sense, right? Like, oh, everyone knows that, or it's just obvious. But what if this idea, this feeling that some truths are simply known by all, isn't as common as we think? It's a quiet question that can make us look at the world a little differently. We call it common sense because it feels like something everyone should just understand, without being taught, like breathing. But here's the thing, what seems completely obvious to one person might be totally confusing or even wrong to another. Think about history. Not so long ago, people widely believed the earth was flat and that the sun revolved around us. That was their common sense. But it wasn't true. Smart people, philosophers from hundreds of years ago, wondered about this. They asked if our minds were like empty notebooks when we were born, waiting for life to fill them with experiences. If that's true, then our common sense really comes from what we've lived and seen, not some universal truth everyone shares. Consider two kids. One grew up deep in a massive city, navigating subway maps and busy streets since they were little. The other lived their whole life surrounded by dense forest, knowing every path and which plants were safe. For the city kid, knowing how to find their way around a complex subway system is common sense. For the forest kid, knowing which berries are okay to eat or how to read animal tracks is common sense. Their common sense is beautifully, totally different, because their lives were different. This means maybe common sense isn't truly common at all. It's more like what I learned from my own world and the people in it. And that's a powerful thought, isn't it? It suggests that what feels so right, so natural to us, might just be one way of seeing things. It teaches us to be more open, to gently ask why, instead of just assuming. It helps us understand that other people's obvious might be wonderfully different from ours. It means we should listen, really listen, to stories that don't fit our own idea of how things work. In that knowing, the world becomes so much bigger, and so much more full of different kinds of wisdom, waiting to be understood, not judged. That trying to control everything actually makes you less free. Ever feel like you really need to control every single thing around you? Maybe it's a school project, or what friends think, or just how your day goes. We often believe that if we plan perfectly, everything will be exactly how we want it. But here's the thing. Sometimes, holding on too tight actually makes us feel trapped, not free. It's a bit like building a fence around a tiny patch of grass. You might think you're protecting it, but you're also limiting it, stopping it from growing freely, and you're stuck maintaining that fence. When we try to control every detail, we often create more stress. We spend energy worrying about things we can't change. Long ago, thinkers like the Stoics, ancient philosophers, saw this. They taught that much unhappiness comes from wanting to control things not in our power, like the weather, or what others say or do. True peace, they said, comes from focusing on what is in our power, our actions, our attitudes, our thoughts, and that's why it matters. Think about planning a perfect day at the beach. You want sun, no wind, the right temperature, friends on time, no sand in your food. But what happens if a cloud comes, or someone is late? If you try to control all of it, that little change can ruin your whole mood. But if you let go, and just decide to enjoy the beach, no matter what, then you're truly free to just be there. It might sound strange, but letting go of that need to control everything can be a huge relief. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room. You're not giving up. You're just accepting that life has its own flow. And in that acceptance, there's a quiet strength. There's a space to breathe, to simply experience things as they are, and to find a different kind of freedom. A freedom that comes from within. That our actions echo forever. Have you ever stopped to really think about the things you do? Not just the big, important stuff, but the small, everyday choices. Do they just vanish, like words whispered into the wind? Or is there something more lasting about them? This is a deep belief in philosophy, that our actions, every single one, create ripples. These ripples spread out, far beyond what we can immediately see or imagine. Think of it like dropping a pebble into a calm, still lake. The pebble is gone the moment it hits the water, but the waves keep moving. They touch the shore, gently affecting everything in their path long after the pebble has settled. For thousands of years, wise people across cultures have pondered this. Ancient thinkers, from the Greeks to Eastern philosophies, often taught that what we put out into the world doesn't just disappear. They understood that our present is built on countless actions from the past, and our future will be shaped by what we do right now. It's like a quiet history being written with every step. Here's how it works in daily life. Imagine a small act of kindness. Maybe you offer an encouraging word to someone who looks down. That word, even if it's brief, might truly lift their spirits. It could make their day feel a little brighter, because they feel better. Perhaps they are kinder to the next person, and that person, in turn, might pass on more goodness. It's a gentle chain reaction, set off by your one thoughtful choice. The opposite is true too. A harsh comment can create a ripple of hurt, affecting many more than just the person it was aimed at. So, this idea isn't meant to bring guilt or make us strive for perfection. Instead, it's about recognizing the quiet power each of us holds. Every choice, big or small, carries an invisible weight and a potential. It means our daily actions aren't just passing moments. They become part of the ongoing story of the world. And that gives every single thing we do a profound, lasting meaning, connecting us deeply to everything around us. That true understanding is a quiet thing. Have you ever stopped to wonder where the deepest thoughts come from? We live in a world that often feels loud, buzzing with constant news, music, and chatter. Everyone seems to be shouting to be heard. But what if the most important kind of understanding, the one that really changes how you see things, doesn't make any noise at all? Many wise people throughout history have believed this. They felt that true wisdom isn't found in a shouting match or a massive crowd. Instead, it waits for you in the calm, peaceful spaces. Think about how ancient philosophers from different cultures, like those in old China or Greece, often sought out quiet places, gardens, mountainsides to think. They knew that deep insights, those moments when everything clicks, often arrive when your mind is settled, not when it's racing. It's like when you're looking at a still pond. You can see its depths more clearly than if the water is constantly stirred up. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine you're trying to figure out a really tricky puzzle or a complicated science concept for school. You might read all the instructions, watch videos, and even ask for help. But sometimes, the real aha moment, that sudden flash of clarity, only hits you when you stop forcing it. Maybe you're just sitting quietly, looking out the window, or walking home. And then, without warning, the answer just settles into your mind. It's not a loud bang, but a soft, clear whisper. It's a feeling of peace, like all the pieces finally dropped into their right places. And you just know. This kind of understanding isn't just about collecting facts. It's a deeper kind of knowing, one that feels right inside your heart and mind. It's a calm knowing that feels solid, like a foundation. And here's the thing, to hear that quiet truth, that gentle whisper of understanding, we sometimes need to turn down the world's volume. We need to give ourselves moments of silence, even if it's just for a few minutes, because it's in those calm, quiet spaces that true understanding can bloom, soft and strong, guiding us forward. That a good argument helps everyone see more clearly. Have you ever been talking with a friend, maybe about a tricky problem, and suddenly, after a lot of back and forth, everything just clicked? It's like that feeling when you're trying to figure something out, and someone says just the right thing, and the fog lifts. That's what a good argument can do. It's not about yelling or trying to win a fight. It's about taking ideas, holding them up to the light, and seeing which ones make the most sense for everyone involved. Long ago, in ancient Greece, a very smart man named Socrates used to do this all the time. He didn't write books. Instead, he just talked to people. He'd ask questions, gentle but firm, making people think hard about what they believed. He helped them look at their own ideas, sometimes finding holes, sometimes strengthening them. It was a shared journey, not a battle, helping minds become sharper together. Think about trying to decide on the best way to organize a bake sale for school. One friend might say, let's just put all the cookies on one table. Another might argue, but if we group them by type and put prices clearly, people will buy more. As you talk it through, weighing the reasons, you realize the second idea is clearer, more organized, and probably better for the sale. It's not that the first friend was wrong, but the discussion, the argument of ideas, helped everyone see a better path. So, a good argument is like a tool for understanding. It's how we chip away at confusion and build up clearer thoughts. Together, when we truly listen to each other's reasons and offer our own carefully, we're not just making our own ideas stronger, we're helping everyone around us, and even ourselves, see the world a little brighter, a little more truly. It's a quiet strength, this shared search for clarity, that, sometimes, a big question has a tiny answer. Have you ever wondered about the really big stuff? Like, why are we here? Or what does it all mean? These questions feel huge, right? Like mountains you can't climb over. And sometimes, we expect the answers to be just as massive, full of complicated words and long theories. But here's the thing. Sometimes the biggest questions whispered their answers in the smallest, most unexpected ways. Think about the ancient Greek thinkers, like Socrates. He spent his life asking questions. He knew that understanding meant admitting what you didn't know. And sometimes, the deep truths he found weren't wrapped in fancy words. They were simple ideas, like know yourself. That tiny phrase opens a whole universe of thought about who you are. Or imagine a scientist looking at the universe. For ages, people thought stars were gods. Then, a simple idea, like gravity, explained so much. It's just a pull, but it holds galaxies together. Here's a simpler example. You might feel super stressed about a big test or a friendship problem. Your mind races, thinking of complex solutions. But sometimes, the best answer isn't a huge plan. It's just taking 5 quiet minutes to breathe, or simply saying, I care about you, to a friend. Those small acts, those quiet moments can shift everything. They are tiny answers to huge feelings. So, maybe the trick isn't always to chase the grandest explanation. Maybe it's about listening for quiet truths, the ones that don't shout, but gently guide. It means looking closer at the simple things, because sometimes, in their quiet strength, we find the answers we've searched for. And that can bring a deep kind of peace. That the most powerful ideas are the simplest ones. Have you ever stopped to think about the quiet power of a very simple idea? Sometimes, we believe that the deepest thoughts must be incredibly complicated, wrapped in long words and tricky puzzles. But here's the thing. Philosophers often see immense strength in ideas that are so basic, they feel almost obvious. It's like the universe is shouting its biggest secrets, but in a whisper we often miss because we're looking for a raw dot. Think about the ancient Greek thinkers, centuries ago. They didn't have huge labs or fancy computers. They just thought, really hard, about the world around them. And many of their most lasting ideas were incredibly simple. Like the idea that everything changes, or that treating others kindly makes the world a better place. These aren't complex theories, they're plain truths, yet they shaped entire ways of seeing life, art, and even how societies work. It's like gravity. We understand it. We drop something, it falls. The idea of things falling down is simple, but that simple observation led Isaac Newton to a powerful, elegant law that explains how planets move and why we stay on the ground. That basic understanding opened up a whole new way to see the cosmos. Or think about a game of tag. The rule is simple. If you're it, you chase and touch someone else to make them it. This one simple rule creates the entire game. The running, the laughter, the strategy. Without it, there's no game at all. So maybe the most profound wisdom isn't about finding the most twisted, mind-bending thought. Maybe it's about rediscovering those clear, pure ideas that resonate deep inside us, the ones that feel like home. There's a certain beauty, a real emotional comfort, in realizing that the biggest truths can be held in the smallest, most straightforward thoughts. They don't need to shout to be heard. Their power is in their quiet, enduring truth. That maybe happiness is just not being sad. Have you ever stopped to wonder what happiness really is? We often picture it as this giant, sparkling feeling, like winning a prize or having the best day ever. But here's the thing. What if happiness isn't always about huge celebrations? What if, sometimes, it's just the quiet absence of sadness or struggle? Think about it. Imagine you've had a really tough week. Maybe you were stressed about a test, or had a disagreement with a friend, or felt left out. Your mind feels heavy, right? Then, suddenly, the test is over. The misunderstanding is cleared up, and you find a spot where you belong. You might not feel jumping for joy ecstatic. Instead, you might feel a deep, calm relief. A quiet sense of peace washes over you. That feeling, that moment when the weight lifts, when the negative emotion simply isn't there anymore. Isn't that a kind of happiness? Centuries ago, some thinkers like the ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus thought about this. They weren't always chasing wild thrills. Instead, they suggested that true happiness, or ataraxia as they called it, was more about finding tranquility. It was about living a simple life, free from pain and worry, rather than constantly seeking intense pleasure. It's not that pleasure is bad, but that peace from pain might be the foundation. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine you have a headache. It's dull and nagging. You don't feel happy when you have it. Then, you take some medicine, and slowly, the ache fades away. You don't suddenly feel like you're on top of the world, but you do feel a profound sense of relief. You feel ... normal again, and that normal, comfortable state, after being in pain, feels incredibly good. It's like your mind and body are just okay, settled, without any discomfort. Maybe real happiness isn't about being on an emotional roller coaster, always soaring to dizzying heights. Maybe it's about finding that steady, calm ground. It's appreciating the moments when nothing is wrong, when things are simply okay. Because sometimes, just not being sad, just finding that gentle peace, is a profound and wonderful kind of happiness all its own. That being alive means always questioning what that means. Have you ever felt a quiet tug, deep inside, asking what it all truly means? It's like, being alive isn't just about breathing, eating, and moving through your day. There's also this constant, soft curiosity, this feeling that there's always more to understand about why we exist, why we feel. It's a gentle whisper that never quite goes away. Long, long ago, wise thinkers like Socrates in ancient Greece knew this. He told people to know thyself, meaning we should look deep inside, ask big questions about who we are and what our purpose might be. He believed that this searching and questioning was a huge part of what makes us human, and that's why it matters. This deep questioning isn't a burden, it's a gift. Think about a curious scientist. They don't just watch something happen, they immediately ask, why? Why does the sky look blue? Why does a seed grow into a plant? They keep digging, keep wondering, and even if they find an answer, it often opens doors to more questions. It's similar for us when it comes to life itself. We feel joy, sadness, make choices, big and small, and then we might quietly wonder, why did I feel that way? What does it mean to be happy? Is there a reason I'm here? This constant wondering isn't a problem to solve or a test to pass. It's a quiet journey we're all on, part of the fabric of being alive. So, here's the thing. Maybe the point isn't to find one perfect, final answer that makes everything clear. Maybe it's about the journey of asking, of feeling that pull towards understanding. This can help you connect with others, grow as a person, and makes your life feel richer. Even when you don't have all the answers, it's the hum of being human. That the universe doesn't have a plan for you. Have you ever stopped to think, really think, about whether there's a grand plan for your life? Like, is there a script already written, or a path all lit up, waiting for you to walk down it? Here's the thing. Some deep thinkers, and a lot of science, suggest the universe isn't really making those plans for you. It's not like the stars are secretly whispering your future, or some cosmic director is calling out your next scene. It's more like the universe just is. It's a giant, amazing place, full of spinning galaxies and distant nebulae, but it doesn't have a personal assistant setting up your next appointment or designing your career path. No individual destiny is carried in its vastness. For a long time, many people found comfort in believing powerful gods or an invisible destiny force had everything mapped out, and that can feel good, right? To think someone else is in charge, that every twist and turn has a reason. But as we learned more about the cosmos, about how nature works through cause and effect, the idea changed. They started to see that the universe, in its majestic glory, operates on laws of physics and chance, not on a pre-written story for us. It simply provides the stage. Think about a single raindrop falling from a huge cloud. Does that raindrop have a destiny to land on a particular blade of grass, or a specific puddle? Not really. It just falls, influenced by wind and gravity, landing wherever it lands. Your life is a bit like that raindrop. You're influenced by so much around you, your family, friends, school, what you see online. But ultimately, where you land and what you do when you get there, that's not pre-programmed by the universe. It's open. This might sound a little bit lonely at first, like nobody's watching out, or that your journey isn't important. But here's what I found. it's actually incredibly powerful. It means you get to be the artist of your own life, the author of your own story. Every choice you make, big or small, isn't following a hidden blueprint. It's you, creating your own path, day by day. And that's why it matters, because your choices, your dreams, your unique self, they are the plan. You create it. That you can choose how you feel about things. Have you ever had a bad day, and it felt like everything was just going wrong, like a dark cloud was following you, and there was nothing you could do to make it lift? It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? But here's the thing. Some thinkers, even really old ones, believed that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can choose how we feel about it. This isn't about pretending to be happy when you're sad. It's about finding a quiet power inside yourself, a space to decide. Imagine your friend cancels plans at the last minute. You might feel super annoyed, or maybe sad and disappointed. That's a completely normal reaction. But what if you chose to see it differently? Maybe they're having a tough time, and you can understand that. Or maybe it just gives you an unexpected chance to do something else you secretly wanted to do. This idea isn't new. Ancient Greek philosophers, like the Stoics, talked a lot about this. They said our trouble often comes from our opinions about events, not the events themselves. They believed that if you change your thinking, you can change your feelings. Think about it like this. Your mind is like a camera. Something happens, and it takes a picture. You can choose which lens to use for that picture. A doom and gloom lens, or maybe a learning experience lens. The event itself doesn't change, but your view of it does. And that changes how it makes you feel. It's not always easy, and sometimes feelings are big and strong. But over time, with practice, you can learn to pause, to take a breath, to ask yourself, is there another way to see this? This ability to choose, even a little, brings a kind of freedom. It means you're not just tossed around by every wave of emotion. You have a quiet strength, a gentle steer on your own inner boat. It's a deep kind of power, letting you find calm even when the world outside feels chaotic. That true wisdom is knowing how little you know. Have you ever felt like you totally understood something, like a math problem or how a game works? For a moment, you feel smart, like you've got it figured out. But here's the thing. True wisdom often starts when you realize how much you don't know. It's a strange idea, right? Being wise isn't about having all the answers, but about understanding the giant ocean of questions out there. Think about a famous philosopher named Socrates, from ancient Greece. People in his city, Athens, thought he was the smartest, but Socrates always said, "I know that I know nothing." This confused people. So, a friend asked an old, wise oracle, like a spiritual advisor, if anyone was wiser. The oracle said no. Socrates was the only one honest enough to admit he didn't know everything. He understood that true knowledge is vast, almost endless. This made him truly wise. He was always open to learning more, not afraid to say, "I don't know." Imagine you start learning guitar. You learn a few chords and feel like a rock star. Okay, I get this, you think? But then you see amazing guitarists, or hear a super complex song. You suddenly realize there are a million more techniques, theories, and feelings you haven't even touched. That moment, when you feel how much more there is to discover, isn't failure, it's the exciting part. It means the journey of learning is just beginning. This realization, that our knowledge is a tiny island in a sea of unknowns, can feel humbling, but it also sparks a deep curiosity inside us. It keeps us wondering, exploring, and listening. It teaches us to be softer with our opinions, and more open to what others might know. And that, in itself, is a beautiful, peaceful way to live. That everything changes, and that's the only constant. Have you ever looked at an old photo and thought, wow, I've changed so much? Or watched the seasons turn, from crisp autumn to quiet winter, then blooming spring, feeling that gentle shift? Here's the thing, nothing truly stays the same, not for a moment. Everything is always moving, always becoming something new. And understanding this isn't scary, it's a deep truth. This idea might sound simple, but people have pondered it for thousands of years. An ancient Greek philosopher, Heraclitus, said something famous: you cannot step into the same river twice. Imagine that. The water you dipped your toes in a moment ago has already flowed downstream. New water replaces it constantly. Is it even the same river then? He believed change wasn't just part of life, it was life itself. The only thing you could truly count on was change. It's like the universe's own steady heartbeat. Think about your day. Morning light shifts, Your mood might brighten or dim. You learn something new in class, and your understanding transforms. Even a strong mountain slowly erodes. Grains of sand carried away by wind and rain. Your body's cells are constantly replaced. You are literally not the same person you were a few years ago. Cell by cell, your experiences and thoughts gently shape you. And here's why this matters. If we accept that change is always happening, we can let go of holding things too tightly. We can appreciate each unique moment, knowing it will never come again. This helps us be okay when things are tough, because we know that will change too. And it helps us cherish good times, knowing they are fleeting. It's a quiet wisdom, reminding us to live fully, to learn from every breeze, and to find peace in the river that never stops flowing. That finding meaning is something you have to do sometimes. It feels like the world should just tell us why we're here, right? Like there's a secret message waiting for us to find it. We might hope to stumble upon meaning, like discovering a treasure. But what if meaning isn't something out there, already made, waiting to be found? What if it's something we actually create, piece by piece, inside ourselves? Think about it this way. For a long time, many wise people, philosophers, have wondered about life's purpose. Some realized the universe itself doesn't hand out meaning like a gift. The stars don't whisper your destiny. The trees don't explain your calling. Instead, they understood that we are the ones who give things importance. We decide what matters to us. This idea can feel a little heavy at first, maybe even a bit lonely, but it's also incredibly powerful. Imagine you're playing a video game. The game itself doesn't tell you the ultimate meaning of playing it. You decide that, maybe for you, the meaning is beating a tough level. Maybe it's teaming up with friends, or maybe it's just enjoying the cool graphics. The game is just code. Your actions, your choices, your feelings, that's where the meaning comes from. It's the effort, the laughter, the frustration, the joy. So, here's the thing. Your life isn't a story already written in a book somewhere. It's an empty page, waiting for you to tell your own story. Your choices, your passions, the people you care about, the challenges you face. These are the threads you weave. This means your life isn't a mystery to be solved by someone else. It's a journey you define, moment by moment, and that, in itself, is a truly special kind of freedom.